special thank you to Pokémon Company for providing the products featured in this video. Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to Directly to You, the 93rd Directly to You. What's Directly to You? You may ask. It's Fanatixfour's podcast. Who's Fanatix4? It's me, AJ, and Parker. Hi, hello.
That's us.
Yes, and you can support us and Fanatix4, the channel and the podcast and all the things by going to youtube.com/Fanatix4 or twitch.tv/Fanatix4 and clicking the join or subscribe button, respectively. What do you get for that? You get exclusive emotes,
So
you
much.
get loyalty badges, you get gaming time with us, you get free Switch keys from time to time, you get access to our supporters on Discord, and you get to join our Discord regardless if you click the join button or subscribe button or whatever you do with your life. You just click the link in the description. You can join the Discord and talk about all different types of crap, dude. You know? It's great.
So much crap. And Twitch, I guess, too, right?
Yes, all those
Did we mention that? I forgot. If we
I
mentioned
did. I certainly
well,
did.
cool. I didn't pay attention.
Listen to me, dude. You just don't.
I
listen to
mean,
me. But anyway,
should I
speaking of supporting the channel, Pokemon Company, they supported the channel and sent us
They sure
a bunch
did.
of crap. Not crap as in like bad stuff, but a lot of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They're synonyms. Crap and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
One of them they can both have positive or negative connotations.
In this case, it's very positive because I like all of it. You
There you
know,
go.
it's all great.
Accurate.
But
Did they send more than I can't remember, than the advent calendar thing?
Yes.
The thing that we've been opening?
They sent so many. They sent this Pikachu and the squirrel. I don't know if you can see it back there.
I can see. Yeah, we can see it.
And this mug
That's
right
cute.
here, they sent that.
Okay.
They sent.
It's on the mug.
It's Grookey, unfortunately.
He cute. It's all good.
I mean, yeah, but like, if I'm going to pick, I want to have Saba. You know.
I mean, yeah. You know, what can you do? What are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
I was going to trade Bob, but unfortunately, he also got me and Bob got the same exact thing, except instead of the Pikachu, he got a regular old Sylveon. So I was like, yeah, I won in that exchange. But here's a cool one. Here's a cool card.
That's dope. What is that? Is that a Torkoal and somebody?
I think it's the Fire Gym Flannery or whatever her name is, Flannery and
Nice.
Torkoal. And then that's the coolest thing from this pack. But here's the code.
I wonder when we're gonna get nice.
Oh wait,
numbers, letters.
The freaking hold on, wait, dude.
Waiting.
I forgot. This is dumb. All right, there we go. Now you can see me. I'm gonna just show you the thing. Here it is again, Flannery.
Yeah, look at that.
Flannery. And
what does the card
Torkoal.
actually say? Does it say Flannery and Torkoal?
I think
or does it just say?
Yeah, it just says Torkoal.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, here's the code. Here's the code, dude. So I was like, oh no, it probably had me on the screen when I was saying the intro thing or whatever.
That's true. Look at that, crisp as a button.
That's
not a saying.
Hey, some buttons are crisp, dude.
They probably are. I at some point have had to sew buttons on.
Had a crisp button in your day?
One or two, you know.
One or two.
It's not the ones I've found. Some buttons. Look at that. There's a code.
There's a code.
Brilliant. Beautiful.
Sequence breaking, dude.
Yep.
Before I showed
That's true.
Cool
Just
card
backwards. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask something. When do you think we're gonna get
Thursday?
That's yeah, probably, definitely. That's what I was gonna. Nice. That's a something.
That's the coolest one in the card.
What did it say? What was on it?
Hold on.
It looked like it said Mallow and something.
It's Mallow and Lana from Sun and Moon.
Okay. So fun thing that Mallow just
freaking trial challenger people or whatever.
Yeah. So okay, that is the thing I was going to say. I wonder when we get Gen 8 Pokemon cards.
I think they're like next month.
Oh, okay, that's pretty.
But I don't know if we're getting them or not. Hey,
right? Yeah, I just mean like, look at that.
Dude.
Gen 8 Pokemon cards. I don't keep up with when new sets, expansions, and stuff happen. But
it's another freaking Piplup, dude.
Look at that, man. That's so pretty. I like it a lot.
It's mine too bad.
Here's the thing. I didn't really care too much about the full art cards until like now
They're
seeing
so
more of them.
cool,
It's like,
man.
okay, they're actually, because they feel a little bit like Pokemon is very subject to power creep, but also sort of like design creep a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not a little bit, like definitely.
Yeah.
But still, you know, they're fun and cool. There's a code. Look at it.
There it is,
Look
man.
at it. So here's Sword.
What if just like one person redeemed all of these?
I mean, probably. I don't know how many of our listeners and followers and people actually like collect Pokemon cards and stuff.
Yeah.
So could be that nobody's done it. Maybe if you're listening to this,
I mean,
like 2
even
weeks
if you
behind,
don't, like that's a solid collection, dude. How many of these are like?
I mean, total 25, right?
No, more than that, because all the packs from the other things in the TCG boxes and stuff that they sent, it's at least like 50.
Nice.
Oh wait, I have all of them right.
Are you keeping those anywhere, or are you just throwing them away?
Yeah, I have them. I have them all in a stack over here.
Nice.
And then some of them are like under the TV and all that. It's like right here. But yeah, this is them. So that's a lot. That's a lot of cards.
So many.
If you
because that's like 11 each. That's a ton.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Look at all that Pokemans. Is
that
everything?
That's Pokemon. You know, thanks, dude.
Product provided.
Yep, that's
That's
true.
what I'm saying.
It's at the beginning, though. So
It is. You're
it's
right.
at the beginning. Don't have to say it again. I already said it. You know.
There it is. Okay, cool. Well, what you been playing before we get into our main topics and whatnot?
Well, let's just get Smash Brothers out of the way. I'm playing Smash Brothers because of course. But how
are you at this point? Are you still playing it pretty much the same way you've been playing it, like Pokemon Trainer online, some CPUs?
No. So I'm still using Pokemon Trainer because if the day I stop using Pokemon Trainer is the day the game stops being interesting to me, because it's the bulk of the reason why I even play the game.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
But now I mostly play locally because playing online feels like garbage. The better I get with Pokemon Trainer, well, specifically Squirtle. I've talked about this. Yeah, but like the better I get with Squirtle and like chaining combos and like doing certain things, it just feels like garbage playing online. So I don't really do that as often. And if I do, even then, it's going to be mostly against people that I know, so that I know that at least to an extent, it's going to be like an enjoyable experience and not completely frustrating that like the lag is making me drop combos and stuff. So yeah. But yep, Smash Brothers is a thing. Great game, dude.
Smash Brothers is a thing. Well, cool. Yeah, you said Smash, and what else?
And the Pokemans, man.
Yeah.
Have you been playing anything? Because like
I have, and it's nothing new. Oh yeah, right. It's still Divinity Original Sin 2. Okay. It's so good. I'll end up talking about it probably a little bit later at some point. But yeah, I mean it's just fun. Like, there's not a whole lot more to say about it that I haven't already said. If you haven't listened to me say words about it already, you can go back to other ones, or I'll say a couple of them now. It's like D&D in a video game, but like it's just a lot of freedom and is lets you be able to play kind of just however you want to, which is nice. And like, it's okay. I will say this. I was talking to Mitch earlier this week, and this is important. Ashley chose a house in Fire Emblem the like organic way. I've definitely told her before that I had chosen Golden Deer, but she forgot or just didn't know what that meant at the time, I guess. Or maybe I never did tell her and I'm just being dumb. But in any case, she was like, yeah, I want to find out what house I would be. So the other day we played up till that point, which honestly is a little further in than I remembered. I mean, gameplay-wise, it's not, but just like amount of time that it takes. Like that's probably an hour and a half in or so, at least at her pace. And she did not care for the battle at all. Like, she was like, I don't want to do any of this stuff. And yeah, so that was, I don't think she's going to keep playing, but she played up to the point. She chose Golden Deer House as well. And I was very proud of her for that.
You guys should like get married or something like
I mean, probably, yeah. I'll just go back in time and be like, hey, this is the reason we're getting married, because
Golden Deer. You picked Golden Deer too.
Yeah. So,
unprompted.
Yep. But no, she liked Claude because she really likes Loki, and she felt like he's kind of like a sort of sneaky,
that's like an anti-hero kind of like guy. Him. Yeah, that's why I didn't like him. I was like, man, this guy seems like he has something going on, dude. I don't like that very much.
So yeah, she liked him, and then she just liked the classmen. It seemed like a more underdog and like kind of a ragtag group, as opposed to the other one seemed a little more straight laced or something along those lines. So she picked that. That was a lot of fun. But I was thinking about that and how there's all these dialogue options throughout the game. And while in Fire Emblem you can kind of customize the way that you're going to play as far as what your classmates, that's not the right word, what your students are going to like be, where, you know, cavalier or knight or warlock, whatever. Like you can customize all that kind of stuff and who's going to be on your team and all that kind of stuff. But as far as like the conversation paths themselves, most of the time, I mean, you could choose who to talk to, but like if it prompts you with two different options of like, do you want to say this or this? It does a decent job of kind of the typical RPG thing, which is like, you know,
the illusion of choice.
Yes, exactly. Where like usually if there will be a prompt question, and then so say in Fire Emblem there would be a prompt question, 3 answers that you can give, and then 3 different responses from them that all end up tying back to one, you know,
right.
Continuation that no matter what, it always comes back pretty much to that. But maybe in Fire Emblem it would actually make them like you more, or make them like you less, but eventually you'll get to the same point. Whereas a lower version of that is in Pokemon. I've noticed that it's pretty much in Sword and Shield, it'll be like prompt, 2 options. The thing they
both
say
lead to the same
exactly the same, where it's like, either do you think or pizza is great like, or tastes garbage? And they'll be like, and you'll be like, tastes garbage, and they're like, yeah, it is great because it tastes like garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they're like less forceful about it now. But before it'd be like the Join Team Rocket thing and Gen 1, where it's like, you want to join Team Rocket? And you're like, yeah. He's like, stop playing with me, dude. You don't want to join Team Rocket. And then he asks you again, you want to join Team Rocket? Yeah. You don't want to do that. And it's just like a continuous thing. This is just like
it's really funny. So that was a funny thing to think about, that in contrast to Divinity Original Sin, which is like, I mean, literally you could say the wrong thing to somebody and it determines whether or not they're going to try to kill you or actually help you in a fight against somebody else. Like a lot of people start out kind of neutral, or sometimes they'll start out like antagonistic, where probably they're going to fight you, but if you pick the right thing, you can get out of a fight. And I actually had that happen where, you know, usually you'll have 4 party members going around, and if you split them up, and so like I could, you know, take my lizard dude and just separate him from the rest of the group. And because he's got high persuasion skills, I'll just bring him into some other people and be like, yo, what's up, people? How's it going? And they're like, we're going to try to kill you. And he's like, or don't try to kill me. And he has high persuasion. So they're like, you know what? That's a good idea.
You got a point, man.
So that happened. And then I just was like, oh, I guess I just, you know, and then they left this area and I was like, cool, I guess I don't have to deal with them, even though I like fighting stuff in the game anyway. So I was like, maybe I'll come back and kill them later because it's a video game.
Oh my God.
So they all left. I continued with that path of things and then tied him back to everybody else. But since the game, like since NPCs see your characters as completely separate people, I happened to walk by them again as not my lizard dude. And they were like, we're going to fight you and kill you. And so just like immediately we had to fight. So it's just like that kind of stuff, and the situations that you'll get into are just really fun. So I've been having a great old time with that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. That and the Fire Emblem bits, getting Ashley to pick a house. Well,
sounds great.
Yeah.
I've been playing the Pokemans.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I want shinies now. I mean, I wanted shinies in Let's Go, but, you know, Smash Brothers exists.
True. Also, was it easier, do you think, in Let's Go to get shinies?
Yes, and
I think maybe because of Overworld. I feel like that maybe made it easier.
Yes, because you could be a lot more selective. Now, this game, you cannot do that because you can't see. You don't see the shiny until you already ran into it. Yeah. But even removed from that, it's just easier to not even do the encounters. It's easier to just do the Masuda method, which is getting a foreign Pokemon and breeding it with a Pokemon from a different region. And then
why is that called the Masuda method?
I don't know, dude.
Cool.
Nerd
all right.
Stuff, man.
Works for me.
Because something about Junichi Masuda was like, hey, man, why don't we do shinies like this? And they're like, I don't know if that's why it is, but that's our canon. That's the official Fanatixfour reason. Yep. But yeah, now it's like the like full odds shinies is like 1 in 4,000 or something ridiculous like that.
Yep.
But shinies with the Masuda method, and the Lucky Charm and all that crap, or Shiny Charm, is like 1 in 400.
Okay, yeah, that's not as bad. And then also, like, the number of times you've encountered them, does that play into it somewhat?
That's something different. That's for encountering them. So if you
gotcha. So this is for breeding them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you've beaten or caught, like, to max out your odds for that, you've beaten or caught 400 or something like that of a Pokemon. It drops your odds to like 1 in the same odds as the Masuda method with them.
Gotcha.
So it's like, it's not even, I mean, I think it's actually a little bit better. Like it's like if the encounter rate is like maxed odds is like 1 in 460, the Masuda method is like 1 in 480. So it's like, it's not even,
that's pretty negligible.
Yeah, it's not even worth doing all that. So I basically was like, and I didn't even think about it in the sense of the odds. I wasn't thinking like, oh, okay, 1 in 4 something. So it's going to take me 400 encounters to find this thing. I got a foreign Ditto, and I was like, today, what I'm going to do in this play session and within the next 2 hours is I'm going to get a shiny Lapras. It took me 45 minutes, dude, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I found that, and that was from Blade Blur, who's a friend of Dan's, who I met through Dan, I should say. And he gave me a shiny Ditto. I mean, a freaking Chinese Ditto.
That's awesome.
So then
how does the I guess I don't know a ton about breeding. So, like, will they breed multiple eggs at a time and that kind of stuff? Okay. Because I've only ever picked up 1 egg at a time. I don't know what that's about.
I mean, that's how it works. So you'll put your Pokemon in the nursery. Specifically nursery. Daycares don't exist anymore, apparently, because they don't train your Pokemon.
Right,
yeah. Different thing. But in the nursery, so you put them in there, and then you walk around, and then and it depends on how much they like each other, and if they're compatible. Because if they're compatible and in the same egg group, which Ditto's compatible with everything except for stuff that can't breed, they'll be like, hey, your Pokemon, they get along great, dude. They're going making babies all the time. Or they're going to be like, they like each other, but not that much. And then they're going to be like, they play together sometimes. And then they're like, they hate each other, but like, you don't know, maybe sometimes they trip and fall and things happen.
Things happen.
Yes. So it really depends on how much your Pokemon like each other. For how long it takes, but that's what you just walk around, and it's like a cyclical thing where it's like you get the egg and you got to walk around to hatch that, or cycle around. You got to walk around to hatch that, but also when you're walking around, they generate more eggs. Yeah. So then you pick up more eggs, and you're like, hey, another egg. And the thing I don't like, but at the same time, like it's convenient in certain aspects, is if you tell them no, there's like, okay. They're like, all right. Usually they're like, are you sure, dude? Are you sure? If you say no, I will break this egg over my knee right here and now.
When you say no, like whether you want to retrieve your egg, like take it from the
so you'll go to them like, hey, I found this egg. Do you want it? And if you say no, they're like, all right, I'll keep it. Like, they don't even try to be like, are you sure? Do you know the gravity of this? So like, there's a lot of times where it's like, I'll go up to them and I'm pressing B because I assume like, oh, they didn't find an egg yet. And they did find an egg. And then it's just like, oh, well, the egg's gone, dude. I don't know what happened with that. So yeah, that's a slight inconvenience. But then after I got the shiny Lapras today, I was like, I want a shiny Noctowl because that's in the anime, and shiny Noctowl is cool. Because I was just trying to think like off the top of my head, like what are shinies that I know like look strikingly different? Because there are some shinies like
Pikachu.
Like,
oh my goodness,
like a slightly different yellow or whatever. Yeah. But like Lapras is like purple. And Noctowl's red and yellow or something like that.
I only have bred like 2 Pokemon or something. It's a Vulpix and I think a Pichu. And the egg hatching animation looks pretty shiny in just by default. Yeah. So my first one, I was like,
you're like, oh my god, I got a shiny.
Did I just get a shiny on my first one? Like 100% no, I didn't. But I was like, I think I just got a shiny Pichu. And like again, they don't look super different, so it's kind of hard to tell. But it wasn't.
The thing is, like, I wish that the song or something, or like even the background color when something hatched was different. Because there's been both of the shinies that I got. Even I'm like not paying attention to the screen after I catch this thing or into it. So like with the Corviknight that I caught, I was like, it looks wrong. It looks wrong, but not completely wrong. So then I had to go and I was like comparing it. Like I got my phone out and I was like, wait, is this a regular one? No, it's not a regular one.
That's really
definitely shiny. Maybe it's not, but I'm going to catch it just in case. And then I caught it and it has like the shiny icon. I was like, oh, okay, it's shiny. And then with Lapras, the same thing happened where I was like, for a second, I was like, is that? And I was like, yeah, it's definitely a purple. It's purple. Like in a freaking half sleep induced stupor or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to give me a shiny Noctowl. So far, this Noctowl's taking way longer than Lapras did.
Sucks.
Lapras took like I said, like I don't know, like half a box full of Lapras.
I mean, I guess technically there's the odds that you could get it on your first one, or that it's not going to happen for
4,000.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think so far I at least hatched like 150 so far. So like, it's fine.
Odds are such a weird thing. I mean, this is kind of separate from Pokemon, but like just odds in general are just an odd thing because I don't know. Like
it's because it sounds like the more you do, the better your odds are. But that's only kind of true,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not like doing it more times resets your odds at all. Every time you do it, it's still 1 in 480 or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
it's such a weird thing. Yeah. But that's besides the point. I mean, it's like the that math problem or whatever with the game show math problem. You know, where there's like 3 doors and you take away what's behind door. That whole thing. I know it's annoying when you don't like finish thing. The concept is if there's like 3 doors and you get to pick which one that you want, something behind or something. And then the game show host is like, but before you do, so there's, it's a 1 in 3 chance that it's behind each of those. And you choose number 3 and they're like, real quick, do you want to change your mind? And then he opens door number 1 and he's like, it's not in door number 1. So now do you want door number 1 or 2 or still door number 3? And for some reason, instead of the odds going to like, oh, now it's just a 50-50 chance between these two, it's now the odds from that first door like move over to being added to the odds of the second door, which I'm like, sure, yeah, whatever, but that's annoying. I mean, there's much smarter people than me that have decided that that's the way it works, but it's still annoying. So moving along. That's not the point. Yeah, that's what we're playing. But you know what? Let's talk about the important things today.
The
games of the year.
Shiny Lapras is important.
The shiny Lapras is important. It's the shiny Noctowl. That's the real one,
Yeah, I still don't have that yet.
I know. That's
theoretically doesn't exist. I could never find that in my life. You never know, dude. You never know.
Absolutely. But yeah, here's the main topic that we're going to talk about today. There's little bits of news, things that happen, but we're not going to talk about any of them because you know what? Whatever. Other people talked about them, and we've got this stuff to talk about instead. So the big idea is we're going to talk about, instead of doing like an objective, this is the game of the year and, like whatever, we're going to talk more about our subjective experiences throughout 2019.
Yeah, because I already said what the objective game of the year is in my video, 2 weeks ago, Fire Emblem. If you disagree, you're wrong, dude.
Yeah, so that stuff. But we're also, before we do, so we're going to do our top 5 favorite games that we played this year. But before we do that, we're going to do a bunch of like little superlative awards, just that we thought up and are fun.
Yeah.
You ready to do it?
Yeah.
All right. And I tallied up all the games that it looks like I played 26 games for the first time this year. And I ranked all of them.
Wait, how do you even find that out?
Oh, I just went back to the games that I have and I just made a list because I'm a nerd.
But I don't understand how did you write it down when you got it or something?
So I've got a list of games that I own. So this is the only games that I own. Like I'm not counting demos and that kind of stuff. But I've got just a list of like my game library or whatever. And I mean, I just remember from which of these, obviously all the 2019 ones I played for the first time this year. But of the other ones, I just know which ones I played for the first time.
Because I do not have too many games. Like the Nintendo thing, like they did that whole thing. And I guess we can look at yours because
we could.
Mine was already on Wolf Den Live. So if you want to see it, go to youtube.com/wolfden. I already talked about mine. But on that, I'm always downloading games all the time, even if I never play it. It's like a dev is like, hey, dude, you want to try this game? I'm like, all right, fine, sure. And whether or not I play that is a crapshoot. It depends on how cool it looks, or if it's from Nintendo or Devolver Digital, apparently. For me to be like, yeah, I'm definitely trying this. You guys proved that you know what's up.
Yeah,
so
they're good at things.
The thing that I like, that the whole like total of the games that you played this year was like 47 or something like that. I was like, I do not remember playing 47 games because I feel like I played 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like I played 99% Smash Brothers and then 1% everything. No, 90% Smash Brothers, 3% Pokemon, and 7% everything else or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. Here's all right. I'm sharing my screen now. My list of those is very off. Look at that, year in review 2019. I started April 7th. Breath of the Wild was my first game. Actually, that's weird that it doesn't say. Before it said April 7th and it said Breath of the Wild next to it, but now it
fake fan, dude. Fake.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh well. In any case,
I was talking about April. That's what I was.
Here's the thing. Back then, I planned on, my goal was, I'm just gonna wait till my birthday in October, and
oh my god,
get Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and all that stuff then, because like I was like, I don't have enough money for it and blah blah blah, and because we had just bought a house and we like had been living with some friends that we were paying some rent to them, but we're like back paid on the, or not back paid. We were like holding off on paying some of them. We're like, hey, can we pay you guys later for some of this so that we can like have enough money for the house? Not the best way to buy a house, just saying. But so got our tax return back, and it was like exactly $400 more than the amount that we owed to them. And I was like, okay, Ashley, here's the thing. We either save this money, we could do like, gave all the options. I was like, or we could get a Switch and Breath of the Wild. Just let me know what you think. And she was like, you should get a Switch and Breath of the Wild. And I said, hey. So
you didn't even get her yellow Switch Lite, you monster, dude.
True. But yeah, then as far as the next things, my most played games in 2019 are Fire Emblem, not in this order.
Which is weird. It seems really consistent in that way, because everybody in the chat, like, it seemed to me that everything was in order. And then people in the chat were like, it's not in order. It changes every time you refresh. And then I refresh several times. Didn't change for me. So it seems like, at least for me, it's definitely in order. It says the same exact thing that my Switch says.
Yeah, right. Also, side note, I was talking about this in Discord with somebody. You know how if you go to your like the all games all the way at the right side and you can switch it to by
most played
and stuff, that does not carry over to your new hardware.
Yeah, it doesn't carry over to the new Switch. Because if you've never played the game on your Switch before,
yeah. So I mean, it saves it on your profile. So in any case, these are the games I played the most this year: Fire Emblem Three Houses, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Super Mario Maker 2, Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Donna, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
How dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you?
At what?
How dare you?
I don't even know. Works for me. All right, so I've played 616 hours and 52 games, which is totally wrong.
That's more games
it's
than
like,
me.
it's either counting. I mean, it's definitely counting like demos and games that I've opened up, like, you know. I mean, demos.
And I wonder if it counts, like, is that just new games or the amount of games total?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the amount of games total. So, like, probably, like, Breath of the Wild, like, I popped that in to, like, take some footage and stuff like that at some point. So, like, I'm sure it counts all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, like, you know, it would count Smash for you, even though you played that last year as well. So, there's that. And then, I don't know what was going on some of these days, but definitely these ones were Fire Emblem and Fire Emblem. And, oh, okay, I just didn't scroll down enough. October was not very gamey. That's when I went to Belgium and visited my parents. So that makes sense. And I don't know, what was April? Something. Probably I was playing Ys 8, I'm guessing, around then. I bet it was just some random Saturday or something like that. I'm going to check what day of the week that was. It was a Sunday.
I could only track 2 of mine, and it was because it was Pokemon. And I felt like most of these, like other than Smash Brothers, which even Smash Brothers to an extent, it's like, oh yeah, it's a video thing. Like, it's just like you can tell the difference between like what our channels were when we looked at who had the most or whatever. Because like Bob plays games when he streams, and that's pretty much it. And sometimes he'll play a game, but like our videos are about games. So like if I make a video, chances are I played the entire game and plus more.
Yep.
So it was like I had way more hours than anybody. I think I had more hours than everybody combined.
Yeah, it sounded like it from what I heard. So yeah, there you go. There's that. It is funny though that April 7th was one of the highest individual days, but then that month is like kind of low or whatever. I love charts and graphs and stuff. I mean, that's why I've got a dumb old, Excel spreadsheet of games I own. Not. And then this is probably Mario Maker, some of that, and obviously Fire Emblem for both of these. And I got some gold points. Ba-da-ba-bow. There it is. There's the stuff. And then stop sharing my screen so that you guys don't have to look at that anymore.
Man. There it is.
All right, superlatives. Let's do this thing. Number 1, most underwhelming game of 2019.
Astral Chain.
I figured that was going to be yours.
Yes, 1000% Astral Chain. Because like the way I see that is like it's the game that I was most excited for that I didn't like. That's the way I'm defining the underwhelming.
I think that's the best way to aspect. That totally makes sense.
Because there's games that like everybody else was excited for that I knew I wasn't going to like that I didn't like. I don't define that as being underwhelming because I knew I wasn't going to like it.
Yeah. I mean, like, what about Sekiro? Like, that was one that you're like, oh, it was all right. It seemed like you were medium excited and it turned out medium.
Yeah. Like, I'm whelmed on that game. Like, I went into it knowing exactly how much I liked it. I liked it exactly that much.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, so that makes sense. For me, honestly, so I actually added this one to the list, but I didn't think about it too super hard.
I tried to just add stuff without thinking about like a game that I wanted to give that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's then it's just like, this is the category. For
actually,
this,
that one I thought about because of Astral Chain for you.
I just want AJ to make Max mad, so I'm going to put this category.
It's not what I want, but whatever.
Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I might say Assassin's Creed 3. I don't know. Maybe no. I'll go with it. Sure, why not? It's technically at the bottom of my list of like my games for the year. I played probably about 10 hours of it or so. And I wasn't even like super excited about it so much as just I was like, hey, let me reach out to Ubisoft and just see if I can get a copy and see what it's like and tell people about it. And like I thought people complained about it running poorly and stuff like that. And I don't know, it ran fine enough, I guess. But I just didn't really care about it. I think it seems like it's kind of, because it's an older game too, it just suffers from some of those tropes or something. Like it shows its age a little bit. It's hard to put my finger on exactly what it was, but at some point I was just like, actually at the point when the game opened up, I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I didn't.
Yeah, because so
there you go.
I played that game on Wii U when it first came out. And I was like kind of excited for it because I was like, man, being like the whole Native American thing, like that's interesting. And then you start the game out as freaking whatever his name is, his dad or great granddad or whatever the heck. I'm like, I don't want to play. I want to play as the guy on the box. And then it just,
Also, if I'm being totally honest, I've just that era, I don't care about really at all. And
you're talking about like the Xbox 360?
No, like that era of kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Like there, because it's like, it's got swords and that kind of stuff, but it's not fantasy. It's
got
like
swords.
It's like history based
box quote
type thing.
10 out of 10. It's got swords.
Yeah, so I think, that's, I just am, I also, like, I don't care about, I mean, obviously, for history reasons, World War II is an important thing to know about and remember and all that stuff. But as far as, like, entertainment things like Call of Duty or whatever, care zero about it, So, like, I like more
History book,
stuff.
the video game.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, so that was my most underwhelming game, I think. Even though I wasn't like, I had very little expectation, or like no specific expectations going in, but I found that it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So yeah. Next up, most surprising game. So kind of the opposite.
Fire Emblem.
I'm trying to see. Honestly, for me, probably because I thought I was going to be probably Divinity Original Sin 2, if I'm being honest. Because Fire Emblem.
I mean, that is a game that you didn't really have expectations for. It was just a thing that game literally fell in your lap. It was like, hey, I'm getting this game. Do you want it?
Yep, absolutely. And especially, like, I remember seeing it in the direct where they announced it, and I think it had some quotes of like best game, best whatever of blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And at the time, I was like, I don't know what this looks like. Like, I can't really tell what's going on. I remember watching the trailer like 2 or 3 times and being like, what's happening here? Because like I don't think it like shows very well in that respect. Because it's not like, it's easier to see in a, action RPG, like this guy's jumping around with a sword and there's swords and stuff. Also box quote. It's easier to see what's going on there, but with like RPGs and that kind of thing, it's a little bit harder to tell sometimes what's happening. So yeah, that was the one for me. But yeah, you said Fire Emblem for you.
Yeah, it's absolutely Fire Emblem because I thought I was going to hate it, and it's my favorite game for this year.
Yep.
Other than Pokemon, but Pokemon, like
true,
doesn't count.
That is. I mean, sure, why not? Most shareable game. You added this one. What were you thinking with this?
Mario Maker, dude. But like, I was like kind of in between Mario Maker and also Smash Brothers for me because like there's just stuff that happens like, oh shoot, and then I'm like, that's a tweet.
Okay, so you mean like the share button, like experiences?
The share button, like watercolor moments, stuff. Like, just like the game that you talked with other people about the most, the game that came up in the podcast the most, like that sort of thing. And I think like that I was like in between Mario Maker and Smash Brothers, but thinking about it now, I thought coming into this it was going to be Smash Brothers, but thinking about it now, Mario Maker, the thing that I liked most about that was the experience of like making the level and telling people like, hey, send us your levels and like that whole thing. So it was like a back and forth. It wasn't just me being like, look at how great I am at this game, or look at how dumb this other person is. It was just like everybody having different things to share of Mario Maker, whether it be like a thing of like, look at how stupid this is, or look at how great this level is, or look at how smart this like mechanic is, or whatever. So yeah, Mario Maker for me.
Yeah, I think if I'd stuck around with it longer, probably Mario Maker would have been that one. Which is funny considering the one I'm actually going to pick because I didn't stick around with it any longer or whatever. But Untitled Goose Game, probably.
Oh, yeah, true.
And not even sharing in terms of internet stuff because like everybody on the internet was seeing everybody else's, but just showing like my non-gamer, like my mom and stuff, like showing, look at this funny thing you can do with Goose. And like playing with Ashley and, her cracking up about geese and stuff. I think that was probably it for me.
I think the thing that I showed people the most in Untitled Goose Game was messing with the little kid. Like, look, I can make this stupid kid buy his toy again.
It was a fun time.
Where did he get all that money from is my question. Like, how did he buy his toy that many times?
Maybe he has gambling debts, and so he's just racking up debt, and he's got a bookie.
Gotcha.
And that explains it, Also, for some reason, my camera zoomed back out again. After I shared my screen, now it's like zoomed out further. So I don't know. Weird. It's crazy. Who's to say? Next up, best game you played that doesn't get enough credit.
I'll
go first. Okay. Probably The Tourist.
Okay.
Looking at my list, I'd say probably. I mean, honestly, that or again, Divinity Original Sin. But just for the sake of versatility, we'll say The Tourist. I don't know. It was great, and I really liked it, and I talked about it. And I've seen more like other YouTubers or whatever talking about it here and there, and just them saying they've enjoyed it, and like that it seems like it flew under the radar. And so like it looks like I think it was like number 20 on the eShop last week at some point before, all the sales and stuff like that. So hopefully that means that more people will be playing it. But I feel like that one just kind of flew under the radar and won't get talked about a whole lot. So that's the one.
I pulled up my Switch games, and just looking at it, there's a lot of games that future category. I don't even know. I don't even know, because there's a lot of them that's like, man, I didn't play enough of that. I'm just gonna say Pokemon. Like Pokemon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Pokemon, dude, easy. Because like, especially like with the type of people that are like downplaying it, like it's literally the best version of the thing they want.
Yeah, right.
So it's just weird that like people are down on it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pokemon.
Pokemon. Nice. Next up, games that you wish you'd played but didn't.
This is the one I was like, man. Like,
yep.
It's like, geez, I don't even know. Like, you mean like didn't play at all, or didn't play like enough of?
You could go whichever way you want. This is our list. We can do what we want with it.
Okay, so enough of. I have multiple. I didn't play enough Link's Awakening. I didn't play enough of Luigi. I mean, okay, so yeah, this is ranked. Number 1, Link's Awakening.
Okay.
Number 2, Luigi's Mansion 3. Because I played like I don't know, like 70% through this game. 4, Spyro, and Mario Maker. Top 5 games I wish I played more this year.
Yeah. What about any that you just wish you'd played at all? That you didn't? I mean, I feel like knowing you, I didn't know that you'd have any for this, because I feel like most of the time, if there's something you want to play, you'll get it and play it.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you answered it,
I don't think there's any game that like I'm like, man, we're star-crossed lovers, dude. Like, there's no way I could possibly play this game. I just if I wanted, I'd get it one way or another.
For me, a couple, and they're on my Christmas list, so we'll just see what happens there, and then I'll get them on sale if not at some point later.
No, I do have one for this. But it's not a Switch game though.
That's fine. Whatever.
Freaking Jedi Fallen Order, dude.
Oh yeah.
Because like it's the game that I want, kind of, but at the same time, I know I'm not going to play enough of it to like feel justified in buying it. So like I'm like stuck between like I might get it, but I don't know. Maybe if I can find it for like half off.
Yeah, which it seems like it's getting closer to being that. It's like down to $40 on sale right now, as opposed to like 30. Where like, or maybe it's down to 30. I don't know. Who's to say? For me, Astral Chain is probably the first one that comes to mind. But then also definitely Dragon Quest XI S. That was one I was really hoping we'd get that one from Nintendo.
Rip, dude. Rip.
Yeah, because I know for me, like games that are going to take a long time, I don't want to get them until I know that I've got kind of the bandwidth to be able to start on them. Because like I'm happy to I'll get eShop games that are on sale, or digital games or indie games or whatever, that I'm like, I'll pick this up at some point and like beat it over. Theoretically, I could over a weekend if I sat down and did it, but that doesn't really happen. So probably more like I'll beat it in the 7 hours it takes over like 3 weeks. but yeah, like, so the bigger games, that's not as much the case. So yeah, Astral Chain, Dragon Quest XI S, and The Witcher 3 are probably the main 3 that like I wish that I'd played or gotten to, but I think are just on the future foresight. Yeah. But there's probably some that I wish I'd put a little bit more time into, but actually no. I feel like Yoshi's Crafted World.
That game too, man.
Mostly got it for Ashley because she was really excited about it beforehand, and she played it some, and then she was like, "Wait, do they have Mario on here?" And yes. So we got New Super Mario U Deluxe, and she just 100% played that and not Yoshi. So Yoshi kind of fell to the back burner, and I was like, I don't want to play without you. You know what I mean? So like that whole kind of thing.
New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe came out this year.
Yeah.
So many things came out this year.
It did.
Yoshi's another one. That was one. I think that was because too much other crap came out. It was like that game came out and then something else came out like immediately after that.
Uh-huh.
But that was one Nintendo did send. # free product.
Yep. That's one probably on a lot of platformers like that. Especially like Mario, for example, if I wanted to, I could probably sit down and beat New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe in like 2 or 3 evenings or something. Maybe not, but like having played it with Ashley, like pretty much if I go to play a level by myself, I'll beat the level more or less first try. Other than there was one time I was playing with it on silent in handheld, and I didn't realize that. Music
you
went
ran
off.
out of time.
So I just ran out of time because I was like collecting everything, and it only had like, I don't know, 300 seconds or something like that, and I was like doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. So lesson learned in any case. But yeah, those are those ones. There it is. Next superlative, genre of the year. What were you thinking with this question?
I was thinking just like, what was the game? Like because we're like, I'd say that we're pretty varied in terms of like the games that we'll try. Like what genre of games like stuck out to you the most? Like had the most consistency, and like there's a lot of really good platformers this year, like that sort of thing.
Yeah. If go ahead and go first.
So I was thinking, just shocker, RPGs, man. Because freaking Fire Emblem and Pokemon was a take. They're both freaking great. Top 2 games, man.
I think I'm totally with you. I mean, and it would be hard for me not to answer RPG usually anyway, just because those are the games that I feel like take up the bandwidth of my mind for me.
See, every other gear, no way, like no way for me. It would usually be like action game, like whatever freaking Breath of the Wild is, and like platformer. And then maybe fighter, but like I don't play that many fighting games. Like I try, like I said, I try mostly everything. So like I pick up like freaking Mortal Kombat or like Dragon Ball Fighters or like Tekken or whatever the heck, and I'll try it and I'm like, I don't really like that.
Tekken.
Tekken. But yeah, I'll like play that for a little bit. Like even like Dragon Ball Fighters, like I like that game, it's fine, but like I don't care about it as much as I do like Pokemon. I was about to
arguably, I mean, you could almost put Smash into like fighting and also platforming. Like you could say it was a great year for platformers and include Smash in there a little bit. I mean,
even though Smash Bros was last year, even though like the majority of Smash's life was this year, but like still technically last year.
Yep. I mean, I think. I'm going to add one to our list that I just thought of. Maybe there's not an answer for it, but I just thought of it. But yeah, I think genre of the year, this year especially, definitely RPG as far as Fire Emblem, Pokemon, there was Dragon Quest XI-S, The Witcher, which, different kind of RPG, but RPG nevertheless. And, a couple other ones. I'm just looking at the list of games, again, that I played. And, I don't know. There are a lot of good ones.
RPG 1, dude.
RPG, good going, man. You did it. I'm curious.
Never do it again.
Honestly, probably next year's going to be. I mean, no, there's actually still there's a strong RPG fan base. I think on.
I mean, there's going to be. I think there's going to be more RPGs on Switch as time goes on. But I don't think that there are going to be more that I like going on Switch moving forward.
Because I mean, already next year. I forgot I made my video about 2020 being better than we think or whatever. And forgot that Trials of Mana was going to come, and that's a Switch exclusive. I mean, again, it's not a first-party game, but it's actually it might be Nintendo published in the West in the same way that Octopath was, because Square seems to do that with a lot. Because like Dragon Quest XI-S was the same way. So I don't know. We'll see. But next ones we got best handheld mode game.
Pokemon. Because like there's like certain games that like I'll play and it's like I don't want to play this in like I didn't really play Luigi's Mansion in handheld mode. I don't play Smash Brothers in handheld mode anymore. Pokemon for the most part now. Like I feel like the first half of Pokemon I was playing like console because it's like the first like console Pokemon game, dude. Like, but then it just got to a point where it's like, man, it's a Pokemon game, dude. This is a handheld game. Especially now that I'm like shiny hunting and stuff like that. That's mostly handheld mode. Because like I can like do that mindlessly while doing other crap. So yeah, man, Pokemon gets this too. For me.
Handheld. Gonna say the Divinity Original Sin 2. I mean, it's not that it's bad. I mean, it's great to play on TV. It looks great and stuff. But like, being a pretty minute RPG and stuff, it's just great to be able to do that and take your time and, watch a show or something and do things at the same time. So that works. But then on the opposite front, best docked mode game.
I'm stuck between, I mean, Smash Brothers doesn't really count, but like Smash Brothers. But also Luigi's Mansion is another one for me.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, I feel like it's just less annoying to play on dock, just because like the control scheme's weird, and for whatever reason, like my mind goes to using the optimal control scheme, like using the triggers to do everything. It feels more natural doing that with the Pro Controller than it does with the freaking Joy-Con. So, which I mean makes no difference to you because you use Joy-Con regardless. But also because like this is like hard stop the best looking game on Switch. Yeah. So like if you're gonna play anything, docked is Luigi's Mansion, dude.
Yep. I mean, Luigi's Mansion. The other one I was gonna say was Fire Emblem. Actually, hang on. I don't have Luigi's Mansion on my. I just realized because I hadn't updated this list in a while. I don't have Luigi's Mansion listed on here.
Wow.
That's a mistake. I don't
know.
Fake
fan, dude. Fake fan of spreadsheets or whatever.
Honestly, it's partly because I started using Deku deals, and then now I've got my list split up in two different places, so that makes things complicated. In any case, Luigi's Mansion is a great one. Fire Emblem was the other one I was going to say. I'm going to say Fire Emblem just to get some base coverage and whatever between the two of us. But yeah, I think it's great.
That was another game that I mostly played docked, but it was for a negative reason.
Because not being able to see it.
The game is unreadable handheld.
Yeah, I played it actually a lot handheld because I played I had a work trip right after it came out and played a whole lot of it on that trip. I wanted to play it handheld, but I was like, dude, come on, man, come on. I'm not squinting at this game for 50 hours or whatever. All right. I'm fixing my list so that everything can be in actual order now. So there you go. Yeah, I think I think the reason Fire Emblem for me was the best docked game is just because I don't know, it feels grandiose a lot of the time, and the combat scenes and stuff, even though the zoomed out thing is zoomed out, but then as soon as it comes in for the battle, it feels good. But
I feel like for the most part, the only time I was like, I gotta do this dock, man, it was when it was cutscenes. I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna dock cutscenes. But everything else, I mean, I can undock for the cutscenes because I don't have to read anything.
Right, yeah. And the cutscenes are great, honestly. Playing it again with Ashley for the beginning part, I was like, man, there's not a ton of them. I mean, there's more of them than there are, in the World of Light cutscenes where there's three, and they're great, but there's only three of them, Yeah,
if they make, because they do those things where it's Luigi's Mansion 2, the movie, and it's just all the cutscenes in the game. If it was like that for Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's like a 10-minute long video.
And it's this bad thing's happening. It's you beat the bad thing.
And then it's
oh, did you though? Yes. Now
it's it's this surrealist, artsy fartsy thing at the end. Most of the cutscenes are that, where it's you're looking at it okay, but what's happening though? There's only 2.5 cutscenes that's the characters I care about are on the screen. It's freaking.
Yeah, but I did like Fire Emblem's cutscenes a lot. Just the art style in general is, and it felt I don't know, it matched up to the rest of the game.
Dude, it's
very much so. But there's been some other RPGs that I've played where it doesn't really. They'll have anime-ish cutscenes, and then the characters and gameplay just doesn't really feel like it lines up with that. It's is that really what's going on? But
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, true. Which that one didn't come up in any of this list anywhere, but I'll talk about that at some point. Further down here.
I said Link's Awakening for game that I wish
That's
I
true.
played.
I guess I meant for me. It didn't come up anywhere.
Yeah. Fake fan.
Apparently. I put DLC of the year. That was the one I just thought of right now, but I don't know that I've got any actually.
Yeah,
it was the Smash thing that made me think of that. So
Banjo, I guess.
Taking that right on out.
Because Hero's toxic. Joker's fine, but whatever, dude. Piranha Plant's toxic. But was he last year? He was last year.
He was last year. It was like December 13th
He
or something
came out
like that.
A couple weeks at a game or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, he's toxic, so he doesn't win.
True.
Well, actually, no. Banjo's toxic too. Yeah, we're deleting this category. All the DLC
done and done. All right, 3 more superlatives, and then onto the like actual, favorites and stuff. In general, favorite Switch game as of 2019. Just favorite Switch game ever.
Freaking Taiko drum, whatever the game's called, dude.
And Roller Coaster Tycoon for me. So, there you go. Actually, I don't even know that that's on the Switch yet.
No, but Smash Brothers, obvs.
Yeah.
And then if Grimhand's like, you can't say Smash Brothers, then Pokemon. And if Grimhand's like, you can't say Pokemon, then freaking Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey. One of those two. Depends on the day, man.
Yeah, it does not depend on the day. Breath of the Wild. Just straight up.
Because you're dumb.
Because I'm smart and wonderful. Debatable on all fronts. That one, it's going to take a lot to overthrow either of those, I think, for either of us. So,
for sure.
We'll see how time goes on, because it very well could.
You know what's dumb? I'm going to pull a Grimhand. You can't say, like, you can't be like, the game that overthrows Breath of the Wild for me is Breath of the Wild 2. I'm going to quit this podcast.
Grimhane, what's your favorite thing to breathe? Air doesn't count.
Yeah. So. You can't say air.
Or any kind of gases.
I was about to say, Grimhane's going to say something else that's like technically we don't really breathe
air. Just make some gills and you're good to go. So 2 more. Most anticipated 2020 game. So this is not looking back, it is looking forward.
Yeah, because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
More often than not.
True.
Well, actually, we do both, because we look forward by looking back.
That's true. I realize a lot of my videos actually are like, the first half is a recap of like, here's the reasons why this is all going to make sense. And then it's like, and here's why it's going to make sense. But I've had a couple of comments that I've seen where somebody's like, you don't even talk about the thing until like halfway through. And I've just been like,
yo, it's called,
if I just started with that, you would have been like, what are you talking about? But I also, I definitely get the criticism. I don't do it for clickbaity reasons at all. It's just like, this is the way my brain thinks. So here we're going to go.
That's like the worst kind of clickbait. Like, spoilers for people that aren't creators, dude. Like, it's more in your favor to get to the point, because people have short attention spans. Yeah. So it helps to be like, this is what I'm talking about. There you go. Cut to the chase. Now you see it all unfold. Like that.
Indeed.
But
yeah, most anticipated 2020 game. Are you thinking for these ones that are confirmed? I'm guessing was what you were thinking, right? Okay.
Mostly. Because I think currently mine is Animal Crossing. Okay. But I think that there's also ones that are just like, it's a given. I'd assume, like Pokemon, like you'd assume a new Pokemon game is going to come out of some sort. What it is, who knows? But something Pokemon's going to happen. But I don't feel confident enough in that to say, like, that's my most anticipated thing, because I don't even know what it looks like. It could be freaking Pokemon Let's Go, Togepi and Pichu or whatever, which is fine, but it wouldn't be my most anticipated game.
Mm-hmm.
So Animal Crossing, dude, it's going to be a great time. I'm going to have a big old island. It's going to be all the friends, dude. It's going to be everybody, man. It's going to be great. Except for Will. Will's probably not going to come, because Will's no fun.
So true. Good question. For me, so I've yet to play. This will be my first Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I could say that it's my most anticipated, just because I don't
think
know
how much fun, dude. It's going to be everybody, man. We're going to all have the island. You're going to be freaking digging holes. You're going to trap Bob in his house by digging holes outside his door so he can't come out. It's going to be
Love
great.
Digging holes.
Great.
So it's a contentious one, maybe for that. I don't really know. But as far as ones that we do know, I had it a second ago and then I forgot. Maybe Gods and Monsters. We don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
So it could be bad. But right now, just like as far as the possibility of what
like
it could
pedigree be, and like what they say their target for the game is and their inspirations and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, it's like one of those games that like odds are pretty low that it'll be flat out bad.
Right. Yeah. So
it might not be as grand as they wanted to be, but I think bare minimum, it's going to be like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I think exactly. The question is like, does it innovate or does it feel like a copycat kind of thing? But even then, sometimes copycat kind of games are just fun anyway.
Yeah, man. People like Digimon.
No comment. So yeah, I think that's probably it for me. I'm excited to see more about No More Heroes, and I'm curious to see what all that's going to be. But I couldn't say it's my most.
Oh, now that you bring that up, dude, least anticipated 2020 game, No More Heroes 3, because it's not the game that they showed. And I know Max is like, but it is a game because like, that's the villain. It's like I want to be that guy. I don't care about Travis.
Yeah,
that's not
a fun time.
I'm disappointed that they did that stupid bait and switch thing because that game was way more interesting before there was No More Heroes 3.
True. It's hard to kind of answer this one because there's definitely some games that I just know that I don't care about at all. So like I almost can't even say that feels like a cop-out. Like I've never played a Doom and I'm not a first-person shooter guy. And so even though I know that one's probably going to be great, I don't care about it for me. So, but that feels like kind of a cop-out answer. Just because it's like
games that like, because I feel like No More Heroes is a game that is like targeted at me. You know, like Astro Chain was, where it was like I saw that game, I was like, this game looks dope, I want to play it, and then I played it, and it's like, boo. That like you look at it, and you're like, that game, like it looks like it should be for me, but there's something about it that like
yeah, right. Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. This is a really hard one to
Breath
give.
of the Wild 2.
Blasphemy. You know what? Just to make it super interesting, I'm going to say Animal Crossing.
How dare you? What was even your most? What did you say your most was?
Gods and Monsters.
Oh, okay.
And I'm. This is literally just we're going to look back next year.
It's because Parker doesn't want to play games with me. Everybody confirmed.
And to be fair, to have some insight, because I won't be able to reflect on this and like whatever until next year when we look back on this conversation. But it's so that it can be like most improved kind of thing if that happens. But otherwise, if it's not for me, then
that's
whatever.
Gonna make people mad, man. People are like,
I don't really have
like, what most improved for Animal Crossing.
No,
that's
you know
like,
what I mean.
You're dumb. That's
most
like
surprising. That's the better.
That game matters more to our channel than Pokemon does. Because that's like the thing that everybody's like, man, I'm hyped for Animal Crossing. It's like it's weird, but it's true, man.
Yep,
it's true.
So we'll see what it is. No, I'm excited to see how that one turns out. But like, I have zero expectations of how much time I'm going to put into Animal Crossing or not, and I imagine it's going to be fun. But like, it's just all question marks.
You're going to play it for years, dude. We're going to
probably
be having a house, and we're going to trap Bob, and it's going to be hijinks. We're going to make fun of him for being a vegan. It'll be great.
Bob's a vegan?
Yes, now. Not really, but yes.
Okay.
Because his friend like freaking gave him vegan cookies, and he's like, he ate something else vegan. So I was like, you're a vegan, dude. You're a vegan.
He's a vegan. And then, okay, last but not least, the main shebang of this. Glad that we didn't have any other topics to talk about because we're spending a great old deal of time because these are fun. Main topic. What are your top 5 favorite games that you've played in 2019? And for the record, this could be games that came out in 2018 or 2017, but Switch games that you played primarily in 2019.
Primarily in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up to, we can decide, we can define it however we want to. There's no rules. So
okay. All right.
Good to know. I'll go first. I'll go number 5. You can go number 5, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So number 5 for me, Pokemon Sword.
How dare you, dude?
There you go. There it is.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Blasphemy.
But it didn't also like knock my socks off and blow me away entirely. It was, it was another Pokemon adventure, but like more refined and stuff like that. So
you're like a big old dumb.
So there's that. That's my number 5.
It's because you just like you freaking eat the potatoes and you're like steak because the steak's on 5 because you only eat the potatoes, dude. Stupid.
I don't even know what that means.
Because steak and potatoes and all you ate is the potatoes. You didn't eat the steak because you just played the story, but you didn't like engage.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah. I think it's because like the other stuff is
you got to shiny hunt. You got to do max raids, man. You gotta do it. It's great. It's fun.
I mean, I believe it. If that's what you're into. But yeah, that's my number 5. What's your number 5?
Are you not into it? You freaking say you're going to play like Monster Hunter with Mitch and stuff. It's Monster Hunter.
I'm going to try Monster Hunter with Mitch. I never promised I'm going to like it.
You're dumb. You're fired. This list is canceled.
Best of luck having just one video a week now.
I mean, I can have multiple videos a week. I'll just never sleep, dude.
Your choice then at that point. Have somebody that you vehemently disagree with things on that put it in his top 5, but not.
Yeah, stupid. Anyway, continue. I mean, no, it's my turn. Number 5, Mario Maker 2.
Nice.
Mostly because like I don't really care about playing people's levels unless they're good, and most people are not. Mm-hmm. So like the thing I like most about Mario Maker is making levels, and I don't got time or patience for that. In the way that I want to do it. Because like the levels that I'm like, if I'm making a level, I'm spending at least 6 hours on this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't got 6 hours to like make one level, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the point at which you can theoretically make them faster and still be good is once you've like refined tool sets and understanding things.
60 hours on making levels.
Exactly. Yeah. So at that point, it's like, oh, okay, like I just know I'm doing this and this and this. But for the most part, yeah, it's like, to make something good, you need to kind of know what's going on. I mean, it's like at this point, I could, write and record a decently bad song in not very long, but that's because like I don't have to really think about how I'm doing some aspects of it or something.
Right.
Like that.
You're not
again.
Looking, I said you're not like, where's my piano at?
Right there. We got it.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so there's number 5 for you. Number 4.
Okay, where's House Parker getting fired now?
House Parker getting fired. So this one is here we go. This one came out last year, and it is Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Donna.
I mean, that's fine. But
number 4.
Whatever, dude.
There you go. It was good. I played it for. I mean, honestly, the first little while that I was on the podcast, I feel like I feel like that was what I was kind of talking about, having played most.
Yeah, and I remember talking about I was like, I played it for like 2 hours before it came out. It was broken. The text worked all stupid, and I noped out.
That's one that I feel like it definitely probably benefited from patches afterwards. Because like same goes for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I hear people like. I played it about a month after it came out, I want to say, like not immediately after. And then other people that played it way further past then benefited from even more stuff from that, of like patches and fixes and stuff. So I still did get some of the "don't forget me" bits, and that was very fun in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Good. That was the never mind. It was an NPC thing where like obviously the script is written so that they were supposed to be saying like "don't forget me," where like they're gonna come in and fight you or whatever, but instead you're murdering this NPC.
Oh yeah,
"Don't forget me," and it's like, well, you will be forgotten.
Already
did. So yeah, that's my number 4. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is hold on, wait, I don't remember because I have it on here. Number 4. Yeah, that's accurate. Luigi's Mansion 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Number 4.
Do you have reasons for that? Or, I mean, we've already kind of said
it. Because, it's a great game. Dude, I like it a lot. But, like, I don't like it as much as I like the next 3,
Stupid too.
Yeah, I mean, the next three at this point are pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
They're pretty obvious.
They are very obvious. Yeah. My number 3 is coincidentally Luigi's Mansion 3. So there you go. It's really good. That was the one I forgot to put on my list, and I just added it now. Bing. There it is.
Fake fan, dude.
Fake fan. And then, honestly, as I was looking at my list, I was like, I know there's stuff that should be on here that I'm forgetting. And there might be more than that, but not that would be in the top 5. So it doesn't really matter right now. But
all right. So there's a bit of a curveball here, since the parameters of this list are different from the parameters of my these like the game of the year situation, right? Yep. So I would say, with that in mind, number 3 is Fire Emblem. Which the thing that's different is it was number 1 before. Now it's number 3. And the reason why is because although I really enjoyed that game and I think it's a really solid game, the story's good and all that stuff, it's not a game that I want to replay all the time.
Right.
Because
I stick with you as like a lasting, continuous thing.
Right. Like the thing that stuck with me was the experience that I had, but that doesn't mean that I want to do it all over again. You know?
That's interesting to think about, because that's kind of like, I prefer doing that in general, like not going back to set, like getting the full experience of something and like setting it to bed and being like, I'm done for now, or whatever, you know.
I mean, it depends on what it is for me.
So, but that's as far as like the Pokemon, like shiny hunting and all that kind of stuff, the like ongoing continuous stuff, like me not doing it is partly to do with that. Like I like having like in my brain, like checked it off a list of like, that's done now.
Yeah. I get that. You know. But the thing that like that doesn't compute with me with something like that is because Pokemon is supposed to be about that. You know, like the reason why you play Pokemon is so that you can continue to play Pokemon. That's why people are so mad about national decks and all that crap. Yeah. Because it's like you do shiny hunting and all that crap, because then you can keep your shinies and you have your Pokemon for later.
Yeah. I think that's honestly, it's just never been part of my Pokemon experience to like battle friends, battle anybody, barely even trade with people. Like I pretty much played by myself and had friends that also played it some, but just mostly would be like, you're also playing Pokemon? Cool. You know, didn't really do much about it.
That's like, so it's like on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even anybody I know, like that's what I was saying, like the last podcast that we did, like I've like honestly never met anybody that's all they did. Like even Logan, like Logan's like more casual in that way with Pokemon, where he's like, he doesn't know all he's not like a competitive battler or anything like that, but he's still playing the game to eventually get to the end point so he can battle and do all that stuff. Even if it's not as good, if it's just like, I got my Pokemon up to level 100, it's crap, but it's on level 100, you know, like that sort of thing. And then he'll battle friends and stuff like that. I just don't like I don't know many people that do all of it. Like if it's either I'm a shiny hunter or I'm a completionist with the Pokedex and I want to catch all the like the gender differences and like the different unknown, like all that crap. Like they're going to complete it in that way, or they're shiny hunters, or they're like competitive battlers, or they do all of it. But that's, like I said, that's more that's rare. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of that, Fire Emblem number 3.
Number 3. That's good. Yeah, cool. My number 2, and on it like is getting close to being number 1. I don't think it'll get to being number 1, but as it's pretty obvious at this point, the more I play it, Divinity Original Sin 2 is my number 2, and it's like it's up there. It's S tier, just very good.
S tier, just
a good old boy.
He said Jackbox Party Pack or whatever.
Yeah. My number 1 is Jackbox Party Pack.
Of course, obviously.
I did play some of that yesterday though, but yeah, Divinity Original Sin 2. I've said enough words about it. It's really good and like hits exactly the right notes for me personally. So super good.
Number 2, Pokemon Sword, dude. It's Pokemon. It's a great time. I'm shiny hunting. I'm battling people. I'm catching. I already caught all the Pokemon. I already got all of them. Everyone. It's good. You know, it's the best Pokemon. You know, Pokemon's my brand. So like, that'd be stupid if like in terms of favorite. Because like that's the thing. Like the thing that when I made that video, I didn't want to like the fact that Pokemon is my favorite thing to influence that. I didn't want to, but I like Pokemon, and like that means that the thing I like is the best because I like it, and that's it.
Yeah, right.
But here, that's the list is about that. So
that's the whole point. Yeah, exactly. Which I think is just more fun because like we're. The idea too is like, we're just recapping kind of our 2019 for us personally, you know, and that's why like, Ease 8 was not anybody else's. I mean, it's somebody else's 2019, but it was like part of my 2019 gaming experience. So like, worth talking about and fun. But I'm with you. And my number 1, bet you'll never guess it. It's Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. It's not Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. It's Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Oh my god! See, that would really get you.
No, it's Fire Emblem Three Houses. Obviously, it's up there. So honestly, like I was talking to Mitch too, because so Ashley picked her house and stuff, and I said she liked the story elements, bits of it, and like the dialogue tree stuff, but didn't enjoy the combat. And I think she would have to get used to the third person camera and all that kind of stuff. But he was like, what if you guys just play it and like she does the story type stuff and you do the combat stuff? And I was like, honestly, if she picked any other house, then maybe, because that would be a fun way to do a second playthrough. But the fact that it's the same house, like I'd like to save that experience. I mean, if she suggested that, I'd just do it. I'd be like, sure, I'm all in. But yeah, I'd like to play, Blue Lions or Black Eagles either way at some point. But yeah, that's my number one. There you go. And never gonna guess what yours is.
It's Smash Brothers, my guy. Cause duh, of course it is. And that's like, I mean, that plays a lot to like the fact that Pokemon is my favorite thing, but also like I'm a gameplay guy and I care way more about the mechanics and all that other stuff. Like on a I don't know, like a freaking. I don't know how to describe it. I was going to say like not a cerebral way, because that's like they're both kind of cerebral, right, but it's not like active. I like that the gameplay is active and it's challenging physically more so than it is like, well, I pitched this one and this type of advantage is 4 times. Like it's math and it's only math.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So like that's like, even though I like Pokemon so much, blah, 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 my least favorite part about it is the gameplay.
Right.
But Smash Brothers is my favorite part about it, and also it has Pokemon in it, so like
true
to both worlds, dude.
Yeah, I think with Pokemon, in terms of like the math part and stuff like that, that is something that like I like RPGs and those kinds of things, and the math sides of all of it. But the fact that it feels like a lot of memorization too, of like as far as type advantages and that kind of thing. And some of which could be like experimentation. I don't know how to say it. Like, because like you just know, either I know the types of this Pokemon or I could look it up, or I don't know. And like, I'll just have to find out. Honestly, a really hard way, like in actually not as much anymore, because now the second time you see it, it's just super effective, like tells you that, which is great for newcomers. But it doesn't feel super balanced in that way, as far as like either you're at a complete disadvantage, because like I remember the first time I ran into some Pokemon that I just didn't know, and I didn't know its type, and it turned out like it did not look like whatever type it was supposed to be. Like it was fighting type and didn't seem like it, and it was using, is acrobatics a flying type move that fighting Pokemon use? Okay, it was using that, so I was really confused. I was like, why is that super effective against this? That doesn't make sense. So like, which is like good, but it doesn't really give you that. I don't know. So there's all sorts of things in that where,
yeah. I mean, for me, it's just like, because I'm at the point where I think about, because that's what it is it's math. Yeah, so like once you're deep enough and like, oh, okay, that's 2 times week, and that like if it stacks and you have 2 things that are 2 times week, that's 4 times week. It's just trying to net out with the least amount of like multipliers as possible, and saying like, okay, so this does 0.25 damage on my Pokemon. Let me raise his defense so to see that, like, it's just math, and that's not super interesting. So it's like,
I think the only like there's some moves that aren't 100% accurate, so those are some question marks of things that could go awry. There's definitely things that could go awry, like critical hits. That's obviously a thing too. But I like just, I don't know, a little bit less predictability in some regards, as far as the, because I do like RPGs, and I like Fire Emblem and Divinity. I
think the thing with me, because like, just because that's how programming works, all games on some level are math.
Oh yeah,
but exactly. Like the fact that like Pokemon is like this competitive thing, and the way that you engage with it is just pressing things on a menu. With it being math, makes all of that compound together and be boring. But at the same time, Smash Brothers is math. There's like ratios and stuff to knock back and like all that crap. But you're directly influencing what's happening by acting on the freaking fight, dude. Like you're actually moving around and saying like, oh, okay, you could have hit me with this ×4 attack or whatever and hit me for 35% of my or whatever, right? But I jumped out of it, so it's like it's just more fun on that level. And if Pokemon was more like that, it would always be number one, dude.
But yes, I agree that Pokemon is great. And honestly, like if Mitch ends up getting it, because we had a good time playing Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee together this year, earlier on in the year. And so I think if he ends up getting it, like just the local aspect of that, I think helps for me as well.
You could play Pokemon with me.
Well, but local, you dingus.
For shame, dude. Why?
For shame.
It doesn't matter, man. Pokemon is everywhere, man. You could freaking play Pokemon with me, man. It's messed up.
I could. And
we could have did raid battles. We did raid battles on the stream.
We did. I would be down to do more of those at some point as well. But nevertheless, those are our lists. Once again, mine is number 5, Pokemon Sword, Ease 8, Luigi's Mansion 3, Divinity Original Sin 2, and Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And yours was, let me see if I can remember, something else.
Mario Maker.
Yeah, Mario Maker, Luigi's Mansion 3,
yep.
Fire Emblem, Pokemon.
And it's Smash.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Right.
All right. Woo. There we go. That took even longer than I was anticipating, but it was fun and great. Let's get into some video comments, and then we got a whole bunch of Q&A because we didn't have any time for it last week, so we're doing all those this week, and it's going to be a fun and fresh time.
Yup.
Comments from your video. Your video was on Switch versus next-gen stuff.
Yes, it was.
And here's some comments. Nova Bushido said, good video, but I honestly think they need to focus on weaknesses, online, features, apps, messages, etc. Then a more powerful system would be a good way for them to keep getting good quality new ports and help their games look bigger and better.
I disagree with this because, like, the only thing that would do is make them more like the other consoles, and that doesn't help them stand out much because then it just becomes what they do worse than the other guys. Whereas now they put all their focus into just making the games that are better, and that's like the thing that is Nintendo's bread and butter, is just like, you can't play Smash Brothers on PlayStation or whatever, right? And that's what the quality of, like, that's why you buy a Switch. Whereas if they said, oh, well, we don't really care about the game, because like that was the bulk of what I talked about, was like, this is how they combat next gen, is with their games and by using their current library and doing different things with like sales with their future, you know, like that sort of thing. Whereas here it feels just more like, you just make it like on par with PlayStation and Xbox with the services and keep doing, you know, what they're doing now. It's like, I don't know if that's enough. I don't think that Switch really needs this stuff, but I mean, it would be nice, don't get me wrong, cool if I could message somebody and say, hey, let's play the game or whatever, right? But I don't think it will like reinvent how I look at Switch in any way. I probably would still more often than not tweet or DM or text somebody before I'm going to message them. And people that I don't have the ability to do that with, I don't know if I'm going to message them in the game, you know? I think for other people, it would be more beneficial because, I mean, maybe it's more common for them to have like friends on the Switch that they're not like actually friends with in that way. Whereas me, I feel like a system where people can message me and say, hey, let's play games, it would be more annoying for me than the other way around. Because then they can message me and say, hey, let's play games. Like, but you don't know, like, you don't know what's going on, dude. You don't know if I feel like playing this or if I'm playing it with somebody else or whatever, you know? So yeah, I don't like the whole messaging thing. It's like, I don't really care.
I think some of those things, I mean, this is sort of what you just said, I guess, but they're just not really make it or break it, essentially. Like I mean, it would be great to have them, like folders is one. You know, I've always said it would be great to have folders.
I think all of these things would be nice, but they wouldn't move the needle for how they compare to the other guys. All it does is make them more like them and exaggerates what they do worse in every other area, and even the areas that they do it in. Because then once they have a messaging app, then it becomes like, oh, they do messaging so much worse than PlayStation. You know, like that's how it always works.
I mean, and it's obviously Nintendo should improve quality of life things for their current user base, but that's definitely all that these things would do. It's like, I don't know that there would be anybody that I could be like, hey, you should buy a Switch. And they're like, I don't know if I'm going to buy a Switch. And be like, they have got messaging now.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, whoa,
they
I'm
got
get a
folders
Switch
now. It's like, I was waiting for they have folders, but now I'm going to buy a Switch. Like,
I think as far as the more powerful system goes, I honestly like looking forward to next year. I mean, there's talks obviously of like, Switch Pro and that kind of thing. I think the problem there is for them to make a stronger system to where, because now that if the theory is because now they have a stronger system, they'll get more third-party ports. Then what that would do is either one of two things. Either we would get a slightly stronger system that wouldn't get any more new ports but it would run the games that we do have better, which would be great. Like I'm totally down for that. Or we'd get a much stronger new system, which would then do the whole thing that the Xbox One X is having at the end of its life cycle, where games like Jedi Fallen Order runs great on Xbox One X and runs like trash on the Xbox One S, which is like, that would be a problem. Then it would alienate a whole user base that already has a Switch. So I think the solution for that, if it's going to happen at all, I don't know, but would be cloud gaming stuff for third-party solutions, because I think we are getting more third parties doing exclusive games, but, again, No More Heroes, Bravely Default, Trials of Mana, Panzer Dragoon, like those kinds of things aren't Nintendo-developed games, but they're Nintendo exclusive games that are just tailored to, this is the hardware, these are the limitations, let's just do it. But yeah, the third-party games, I think cloud solutions would be the best way to go about that, which isn't great for long-term. Like when the Switch is done, you're not then going to still be able to play, I don't know, Cyberpunk 2077 when we're on to the next console on your old Nintendo Switch if the servers are down. But
yeah. I think at that point it just becomes like, well, hopefully the next one can run whatever it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think whatever the hardware thing is, the only way that they could do it and then it not screw everybody else. And just because, like, on a technical level, that is the real bottleneck of the Switch. Like the Switch itself, like, and like the most powerful that it can possibly be, like overclocked and all that stuff. The bottleneck is undocked. That's the problem. So like, if they can beef up what undocked Switch can do on whatever the next console, like if the next Switch is a 1080p screen or whatever, and undocked it can run games at 1080p, and that, like, if it is that, like, if they do that then and then they continue to develop for that spec and say like, okay, we got to make sure that this game can at least run what the new Switch does undocked, because that's what they do now. Say as long as this can run this undocked at whatever level that we're happy with, like at worst case scenario, we want this to be 480p or whatever, right? That's what they do now. If they say, okay, as long as this runs in 1080p, and then for the old Switch models, they had to be docked, or like for the Switch Lite, I guess you just can't have it on Switch Lite, which would suck for those people, but whatever. Yeah, I think that would be the only solution that they could do if they did do a Switch Pro, which I doubt they would, for that reason, because then it would screw everybody else over.
Yeah, I could see them doing a Switch Pro, but it would be negligible improvements, and honestly would still be great, but for the current Switch user base more so than for expanding into other stuff, I would guess. But also the Switch Lite seemed like weird that they took away the docking thing, so like, who's to say they couldn't be surprising anyway?
It did, but it didn't, because like the purpose of Switch Lite makes sense. Like, the whole thing, like Nintendo, ever since Switch came out, they were talking about how they wanted it to serve the same purpose that handhelds did, where it's like everybody, like households have multiple ones of these things, and households aren't going to buy multiple $300 systems. It's just not going to happen. But they're way more likely to buy multiple 200, or even like a lot of time, like there's sales now that like retailers are selling it for $150 or $200 with a $50 gift card or whatever, right? That's a way easier pill to swallow than $300.
Which I'm super curious to see the numbers. Like when we get them in January for this holiday season, it's going to be real interesting.
Sure. So yeah, I think that like if they have something along those lines where it's like, this is the reason as far as the market goes, not what our current like mission statement is, because they have shown that they don't care about changing their mission statement for a new like the Switch thing. You know, it's not. Yeah. It's now not anytime, anywhere, with anyone or whatever, right?
Right.
So if they have something that's a strong enough mission statement for that specific model, then that's what they'll pursue. But I don't know if they'll do it or not, one way or the other.
Yeah. Next comment from Gilberto Caldera, and I probably always say that wrong, man, so I apologize. But there you go. I personally think that it's a yes and no. Nintendo can easily survive next gen without a real issue. The Switch is so successful that it'll keep getting third-party support to some capacity. Still, I think the third-party support will decrease after next gen games start to be developed. But I think that Nintendo pushing their games like they are now, focusing on quality and releasing a more powerful Switch would solve this issue.
I think that like the Switch is in the it's in the place where the amount of time it will take for developers to really start to max out next generation, it's the next Switch is going to be the thing, right? And for the most part, why Switch and like Wii U and all this stuff used to not get games developed for it, whether it be multiplats or exclusive games or whatever, is because it didn't have the install base to then say like, oh well, there's not enough people to justify basically developing a game exclusively for this hardware spec. I think
sometimes not even install base, but just sales numbers, you know, even on the Wii or whatever. Like we saw definitely like Call of Duty come over to that looked completely different from what it did on the other consoles. But then like even with a big install base, sometimes it just wouldn't sell well because people are like, I don't want that Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Where that's just not happening in the same way.
It wouldn't set like, I don't think that mattered back then, right? Okay, it's less about like how much it actually sells and more about how much they think it could sell with the install base that they're marketing to, right? Which I think for Nintendo, it needs to be for them, or it needed to be significantly bigger than everything else to justify it.
Absolutely,
because like there could be 50 million Xbox Ones or whatever, which I think there's less than that, but they know that there's an audience for these specific kinds of games.
It's low risk regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas,
and even on a development level, it's like, okay, we're developing for like this thing that's like an apple, and now we're just going to develop for this thing that's like an apple but with an arm, as opposed to, you know, like, all right, well now we're going to develop for a, you know, I don't know, dinosaur or something. Sure. And then Appleton shows up and it's both. So
yeah, exactly, man.
There you go.
Exactly.
Or Flapple or one of them.
Exactly.
So there's that. Next comment. Hugo Mendez says, I'll be real with you, AJ. For me, Nintendo consoles were never competition for Sony or Microsoft to begin with. Nintendo has such an array of amazing first-party IPs that it will never stop selling systems for them. Most of my friends either have a PS4 or an Xbox One, but guess what? They all have a Switch. Since the fall of Sega decades ago, I think Nintendo is more than happy to be the middle one console-wise. I don't even have a console, mainly a PC guy right now, but I'm really thinking about getting a Switch this holidays.
I'd agree with that, but at the same time, I don't know if I agree with like Nintendo thinking of themselves as the middle one. I think that like they... Like if
I guess
you
it
think
depends
about
on the definition of middle one too.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about like the gamer, like, you know, like the like mid-30s, like, you know, mid-30s male, like most of them are going to have both or whatever. But for most of Nintendo's market, they might just have a Switch, you know, like kids. Like they just have a Switch, or maybe they have a 2DS also, or whatever, right? And then they got old enough where the parents were like, okay, yeah, I'll buy you a Switch now.
I mean, maybe if he means also middle one in terms of like, I don't know, a Venn diagram or something like that, where it's like, gamers, it's like if you got a PS4 or an Xbox One or a PC, probably you're going to also have a Switch, like that kind of thing. And sometimes middle one could come. Yeah. In any case, I mean, I think that makes sense where it's like, it's either, I mean, for me, it's the only console that I have, but then for a lot of people, it is what, especially like, I think back all the time to how Bob kind of viewed it at the beginning of its lifespan and then kind of shifted where he was like die hard. It's a secondary console. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. And then now like, that's just, you know, not.
Yeah. Because like, I mean, I'm in the same position as Bob where it's like, I have all three, but I don't play the other two. And
Yeah.
I never really did. Like, ever since I got my Switch, I didn't really play my Xbox and PlayStation 4. Like, it would be games every once in a while that, like, I wanted to, like Sekiro, or now, like, Jedi Fallen Order, where it's like, I'm interested in playing this game. And I'll play it for 2-3 hours and then never play it again.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that there's, like, people all over the spectrum. And most people, when they think of, like, and I know that this is a more positive end of that. Like, Switch isn't really Nintendo, competition for Xbox and Sony. He's more so saying that, like, in a good way. He's saying, like,
totally.
Switch is invulnerable to, like, whatever they have going on. But most people will look at that and say, like, Switch doesn't matter. And it's like, no, I think, like, for a lot of people, it's the opposite. Because, like, the other two don't matter to me. I'm going to have the other two just because, like, who knows?
I think ultimately, Nintendo's success depends a little bit less on the impact of the other companies, whereas the others, because they're fighting for the same market, they do matter a little bit more.
The same box, their consoles use the same chipsets, just at like different levels of, like, this one has GDDR4 RAM and this one has 6, that sort of thing.
But yeah, I mean, Nintendo's success really depends on just how well they do for themselves, which there's been lots of times that they haven't done. Like, I mean, with the Wii U, it was because of their own failures that they did poorly, not because of, which ironically, that was the first time that they were probably the closest in a while to, like, actually trying to compete with the other ones, but, like, not really.
Their timing was off on that. It was the Dreamcast. It was the Dreamcast because it was more powerful than the generation that it was coming in on the tail end of, but it wasn't as powerful as the next thing.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Last one. Here we go. Grimhane said, honestly, Nintendo doesn't need to do a whole lot for me. I'm in the camp Parker covered, as I've got a Switch. And really, all they need to do to keep me suggesting it as a good system is to keep doing what they've been doing. Releasing good games in a variety of genres, which we've already seen hints of them doing in 2020, as detailed in Parker's recent video. Double shout out, Scrimhane. I like it. For new people coming into the Switch, 2020 doesn't need to blow it out of the park. What will be 4-year library by the time we actually have the PS5 and Xbox random name here in stores is going to be something very solid with Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Pokemon, Yoshi, Luigi's Mansion 3, etc., etc. Of the already announced Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, and Rumored Prime Trilogy, these alone are going to keep you playing for a long time. And then we have the multiplayer-focused games, etc. The next-gen consoles are also touting backwards compatibility, with Xbox being very clear that you can play your Xbox games on your Xbox console because they worked backwards compatibility into the console to allow it to play Xbox console games. Sony/PlayStation haven't said that PS4 games will work, which, as a PS4 owner, makes me happy, but also reduces any pressure to jump into the PS5 era right away. Everything I play will transfer over when I'm ready to make the jump, which is only going to be when the PS5 price comes to a point I feel is worth it, and there are enough games that I want that will only work on next-gen consoles, which, judging from previous generations, is a good 2 to 3 years in, right around when the Slim model comes out. The first year of next-gen will probably see a lot of dual-release games, with some developers pushing it into next-gen only. Year 2 will see less, etc. So where's the drive for me to drop $400 to $500 on a console? I'm a bit apprehensive when it comes to cloud gaming. I think it'd serve Nintendo well if they team up with Microsoft and get xCloud games on the Switch. However, I think cloud gaming in general is too much of a pass for developers. It lets them develop for only one system and sell, quote-unquote, me a product, which I own even less than a digital game. At least with digital games, I can make a backup. With cloud saves, once they shut down the server, poof, there goes the purchase I made. Also, the Switch does not need it. We've seen countless times that any game can run on the Switch.
Yeah, I agree. I think that especially the tail end of this, that's what it is. Like, cloud gaming is it's less about trying to get these games to be like on par or close to parity with the next gen consoles. Isn't because, like, the Switch could not possibly run a game like freaking Hellblade, Senua's, whatever the heck, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that the Switch can't run that game. it can't run it in its current state, and they would have to rework it and bring in lower quality assets and do all that stuff. It then becomes like, are they willing to do that? Do they have the manpower to do that, and then also release the other SKU of the game and do all that stuff? That's what it is. It's not like this game is impossible to run on Switch.
Yeah.
It's just like, do we want to do all the things that it takes to make this game work on this platform?
And for some developers, like, do they want to... it's not quite a pride hit, but for some of them, a little bit of like, it's a good-looking game.
Honestly,
like, I don't think that many of them have that.
Honestly,
some.
I don't think any developer actually has that. I think that's a cop-out. I think in the same way that, like, because in a lot of ways, it's kind of Xbox's, Microsoft's fault. That people even think like that, where it's like, well, you're sacrificing like, because it doesn't have enough like, the only reason why people know half of the things that they know about the like the technical terms is because that has been the marketing terms. Just like with Sega, it's like blast processing. Teraflops is the new blast processing. That's what it is. Like MKBHD, who's a tech YouTuber, right? He did this console wars video or whatever, and they were talking about which console was better, the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo or whatever, right? And somebody unironically in this video said, well, you know, Sega Genesis has blast processing. And I was just like, it's like people like stupidity knows no bounds, dude. It doesn't even matter how technical the term is, because like people it's still like a catch-all for like, this is the thing that I heard on screen once, and this guy seems smart, so that means it's the smart thing to say. Like how me and Bob get annoyed by net code for online games, net code. It's like literally nobody that actually is in this field calls it that, because it's not like, that's just a catch-all for like networking terms that is like an amalgam of all different things, and you don't know how each one of those different components works. You just know that the online experience isn't as good as you want it to be, so you're going to say like, net code isn't good. It's like, but yeah,
it's true.
Yes,
yep,
I agree.
Yeah, I think lots of. You commented a ton of things, Grimhane, and there's a lot of good points in there. I think the cloud gaming one's an interesting one too. Just, I think we'll talk about it more probably as the year goes on and depending on how things go. But like, that's definitely a question as far as like, is it a cop out for developers? Will they like, are there, and I've said it on the podcast before, but are there games that they could make a pretty good quality version of pared down for the Switch that they're just not going to because they don't want to bother? And if so, that's kind of lame to have to miss out on that. But at the same time, are there games that like the developer just wouldn't have put the time in regardless, that this way we could get?
Yeah, I think that's going to be most of it.
Yeah.
Because even though I agree that like cloud gaming will then be a cop out for them, where it's like, oh well, we could just make it a cloud game. I think the bulk of those games that they say, well, it can run on the cloud, I think the bulk of them wouldn't have came at all.
Right. Yeah. They just wouldn't have bothered.
Exactly. To fall back. It could be possible and maybe even feasible for them financially, but they just are like,
I mean, the real question, like Witcher is, I think, a perfect example of like, would we have gotten The Witcher 3? Because that's like top tier of like, just they had to work really hard to get this game to run on the Switch or whatever. So like, would they put in the effort? Who's to say? But I think the long-term question of cloud gaming is definitely a big one. But good stuff. I'm curious. I'll be thinking about that and probably talking about it more going into the next year too, just because who's to say. But you know what? Moving on as it is. Comments for the video that I made.
Yep.
Let's talk about him. Mega Man said, "What's up, Mega Man? I'm disappointed that there isn't a sweater. RIP sweater, 2019 to 2019.
How dare you, dude?
It'll be back. I promise.
You broke Mega Man's heart.
I did. I do what I can, but I'm sorry that I couldn't. Moving on. When I brought Mario Kart, he says, when I brought Mario Kart back when I first got my Switch, everything was there, and the only reason to play it was with friends. That is now the only reason I booted up. I really like the idea of missions or an adventure mode of sorts that makes you want to go back and keep playing. Then that goes down the DLC route as well. This is what I loved about Diddy Kong Racing, my last Nintendo racing game. The different vehicles and adventure mode were amazing. Maybe that just deserves a remake instead.
Yeah.
I've talked about this some too, where like I like unlockables and things. And so I haven't played Mario Kart 8 as much as I played Mario Kart Wii, as much as I played Mario Kart 7, just because everything was there. And so like once I'd gotten gold medals on everything, I was like, cool, we're good. And then like I'll play it with other people if that comes up. But as far as like just playing by myself, there's not really any senses of accomplishment. And I like having those kinds of things.
Yeah, it just depends on the game for me. I don't, I like just thinking about Mario Kart. I don't think I like Mario Kart enough to want to play Mario Kart by myself because I barely want to play Mario Kart with people. Yeah. Like when given the choice of like, what do you want to play as multiplayer? Mario Kart is usually the last thing that I would pick. It's like, do you want to play freaking obviously Smash? Do you want to play Splatoon? Like Mario Kart is literally the last thing. I'm like, let's play Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mario Kart's always been a tricky one for me because like in high school, I played it more than my other friends because I do just play it by myself because that was the fun one to play by myself and unlock things or whatever. But so my friends would come over and we play Mario Kart, and it would be one of those like Smashes for you, probably with a number of local people, where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna bump into things on purpose or just demolish you. Like that's
that. I mean, that is what it is. It usually just become like, and that like with Smash Brothers, and we talked about this on the Discord, where like I feel like Smash Brothers is better even in that regard because it's easier to nerf yourself. Yeah, you can say like either everybody's on a team against me, or I'll pick random, or like you.
I mean, I'll do team races most of the time for that reason. Like that. Yeah, like if I'm playing with, I'll go over to a friend's house and play with my godson, and he's 6, and he plays Mario Kart Wii, and it's cute and fun. And we'll just play on a team, and then we don't have to worry about it at all. He'll get 12th place, or he'll get 4th place, and I'll still get 1st place, and it'll be fine. So yeah, and the adventure mode missions and stuff, I'm 100%. I think there's another comment about that that'll come in here. So next comment, this is from Heavy Hitters, who also said, who left another comment that said, stop sounding like Bob, not in a mean way, I think, because he said it before, like, and I'm curious what part of it is. So you'll have to comment and let me know.
Yeah, how is like?
I don't know if it's just my voice or the kinds of things I say, because I don't think any of that's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like you and Bob are as opposite people as you can possibly get in terms of like personality and demeanor. Because Bob is just like real abrasive and like in
very
your face
abrasive. You don't even know.
But like you're like the opposite of that.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, man. Bob's like, no, man. No, you're like, yeah, man. He's like, no, you piece of garbage.
And there you go. But yeah, in any case, I thought that was a funny comment. I'm curious what the implications of it are, but took it only in nice ways, not in mean ways at all. So moving on with this comment.
Heavy Hitters mean ways towards Bob. We could be mean to Bob.
Could be. Who's to say? Heavy Hitter says, I need Nintendo to finally make a legit story mode for this game. I've been missing since the 64 version, and Nintendo needs to repurpose the items for the challenge modes in the story. Don't change what they do, just how they're used, like knocking things down with shell shields or launching red shells off a ramp into airborne enemies/targets. Use lightning strike to shrink multiple objects for easier transport during timed races, using mushrooms to clear enormous chasms or knock heavy objects over. The list goes on. Also, if anyone else is noticing, the better the graphics, the longer its life. These are actually 2 separate comments, but they were both good, so we'll put them together. The better the graphics, the longer its life. It makes sense. At some point, we get to a graphical terminal velocity. What's the difference between 1,000 trillion triangles and 10 or 100 times that? Nothing. Our eyes won't be able to see the difference way before we get there, which means upgrading graphics stops making sense and gameplay takes its rightful place in the gaming market at the top, where it belongs. Yeah. I thought this was a fun comment.
I feel like that's a better comment for my video than it is for this one. Because like, because like I don't feel like that really happened with Mario Kart. You know, like this is the first Mario Kart game that like I looked at and I was like, man, this game looks great. Yeah. You know, every other Mario Kart game is like, yeah, it looks like Mario Kart. But this one is like, this is when this game came out. It was like. I think I said it like the year that this game came out in a video or something where it's like this is one of the best looking games of the year, period. Not one of the best looking games on Wii U, but one of the best looking games of the year. And it just is. But that's never really been the case for other Mario Kart games.
It looks good. But yeah, I agree with that as a general topic as well. I think, I mean, that's when we start getting into these things like ray tracing and whatever. It's not so much like how many pixels and whatever, but it's like, how is stuff like lighting working like it does in real world and stuff. And that just, shows you're getting to a point of diminishing returns where it's like, it's cool
now
that
it's
doing
about
that.
refinement. Before it was like leaps and bounds of like, okay, this is like, we got 3D. That's what the N64. And then it's like, you refine that. And then, okay, now we got HD. And then this generation that we're in now currently, it's HRD. And now after that, it's the HSD you ever seen in your life. And then where do you go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I thought that part was interesting. But yeah, as far as I liked all of your ideas for, I mean, I don't care even what they do, but doing story mode, mission mode type stuff is just something that I would like to see for obvious reasons. Yeah,
because like that's the only reason why there are people that are like, oh, Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart, which I think they're insane. If they think that for like, unless the comparison is between Crash Team Racing and Mario Kart 64, I'd agree with that. But anything else, you're crazy people. But yeah, like I think that's the only thing that people like really point to, where it's like, well, Crash Team Racing has the adventure mode. It's like, yeah, that's true. Yep. Mario Kart would be cool with an adventure mode. It's kind of weird that it doesn't, given its roots of being a Mario game. So yeah, I'd be down for that.
Indeed. I just remembered that I forgot to pull the questions from Twitter itself. So I'm doing that right now so that we've got them. I grabbed everything from everywhere else. But then we got one last comment on my video that, all right, whatever. I'll finish that later. Rosovieta, something like that. Let me know if I said your name super wrong. Said, I'm sorry, did you say Koopalings are redundant? They're literally the only saving grace for me when it comes...
You didn't read the face.
Oh, yeah, it was this face. They're literally the only saving grace for me when it comes to the boring Mario Kart roster, LOL. They're not generic minions or any other variant of the same character. Koopa Troopa, Shy Guys, Babies, Gold Rose, Dry, etc. They're actual characters, TM, with actual names, each looking completely different, LOL. Honestly, a major reason I want Mario Kart to go the Smash route is so we don't have to put up with even more minions and generic characters be put as a playable characters. Just my 2 cents.
See, this is where like I vary from probably everybody else that plays Mario Kart, except for maybe Bob. I couldn't care less about the characters in Mario Kart. I don't care, not even a little bit, because I'm just going to pick my me. I don't care about any other character in this game. So it's
that's
like,
funny.
So yeah, like they can make it freaking Nintendo card if they want to, but I'm not gonna pick Fox McCloud. I'm not gonna pick any. They could put Squirtle in it, and I'm not picking him either. I'm just gonna pick my me.
That's really funny. Yeah, I think so. For me, I commented on this too, and I said that I agree on one hand as far as I think the like Babies and Gold and Dry, those kinds of things are worse than the Koopalings, or more offensive in that regard, because they're just very copy and paste. I think for me, what it's about is character. And so like Dry Mario, or not Dry Mario. Dry Mario has...
That's going to be the next DLC character. Dry Mario.
Like Gold Mario and Tanuki Mario and stuff have no more character than
Dry Mario.
Have no more character than regular Mario does. So that's why I would like those to be relegated to costumes instead, and like just shift those together, because it's like, oh look, it's Mario, but he's like doing something weird. Whereas the Koopalings as a whole, they do have more character for sure. But no Dry Mario?
I found a Dry Mario and it's stupid. Hold on.
You gonna share your screen?
Yes.
Cool. I'm ready.
Here we go. Share. Here it is. Dry Mario. Do you see him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just a Dry Bones with a Mario hat and a Mario mustache.
Dumb.
Nope, I don't like it. I mean, like if you go 2 over, that one right there, that's Super Mario Odyssey. No, sorry, 3 over. I meant to say. Yeah, there you go. That's Mario Odyssey where he's got the skeleton. So like that's something.
Yeah, that one's dumb. That's
dumb. The skeleton costume.
It's all dumb.
It's all dumb. Who's even to say? But yeah, there's that for you. So yeah, to go back to the point, I think the Koopalings are good because they have they're better than the like alts of other things because like because they've got more variance in that regard. But from each other, they don't have as much variance as I'd like to see from. I'd like even more than that is essentially what I'm saying. Where like the Koopalings, it's like, here's the kind of like Lemmy and Larry, they're kind of the same. So we're going to patch them as costumes of each other. And like Roy and Morton are like, they're pretty same. So we'll patch them, have them be costumes of each other. But then I just like to have even more variety than that. So I might have not articulated that super well, or you might just still disagree with that, which is also fine. It's fine to disagree with things, but
yeah, I just don't. I don't care.
Yeah,
and Mario Kart's the only game that's like that, where it's like because Smash Bros. I'm the opposite. I will never pick my Mii ever.
Yeah, right. But yeah,
Mario Kart, I don't care.
Is that because of the gameplay though? Of
maybe it is. I think it's the gameplay. Because like I don't care. Like that, I don't know. I don't really get anything from being like, oh yeah, I like this character and he's driving around. But like, I'll freaking drive around.
I play as Link most of the time, so
yeah, I probably picked. See, this is the thing. I probably picked Link when he first got added to the Wii thing, and I was like, that's cool. And then when the Switch version came out, I probably picked Inkling like once. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm back to my Mii, and I'm never picking anybody else ever again.
I have a hard time because honestly, like there's a part of my brain that's the like, more hipster side of thinking that I like picking the underdog things. It's just fun to have a different thing. And that's why like in Brawl, I would always play as Olimar or whatever. Like
Olimar's not Olimar not broken in Brawl.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I don't know about the competitive scene or whatever, but as far as like just regular people that played around me or whatever, like, we're like, who the F is Olimar? Whatever.
Yeah.
So in that regard, like I like picking the underdog, but at the same time, I love Link. And so like Young Link's my main in Brawl, and that's not an unpopular thing. Really.
Young Link's not even in Brawl.
Oh my goodness. I meant to say Ultimate. Toon Link was mine in Brawl.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that it's hard. So same goes for in Mario Kart. I just love Link. Speaking of that, let's get in the Q&A where good comments everybody.
For the people, for real gamers, he means Boy Zelda.
I do mean Boy Zelda. Sorry, everybody, that you had to hear me say words that were not Boy Zelda over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right, Q&A. We got a whole bunch because last week and all that stuff, and here we go. First ones, these are from YouTube. We reached out on the community tab, and I said this is related because it kind of is. Colorful Commentary asks, what's your favorite game series? Mass Effect, Castlevania, Leisure Suit Larry, etc.
That's interesting that those are the ones that he specifically named.
Yep. I also have A, no idea what Leisure Suit Larry is.
Seriously?
And B, I really don't.
It's because you're a good egg, Parker.
But then also, I think it's funny that you had to explain what a game is. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate because maybe you could take that as something different. I don't know, like the Mario Galaxies series or something like that. But franchises, we got you. We got what you mean.
Madden. No, what if it was?
Yep, Hidden Love. I don't know. What is it for you?
Never freaking uttered.
I mean, we both know the answers for this. We're answering for you, Color Commentary, because everybody else knows what ours are. Yeah, you're obviously Crash Bandicoot.
Clearly.
And the Spyro Dragon.
I mean, Spyro's not too far-fetched.
No. I'm not saying Crash and Spyro. I'm saying Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro Dragon.
Oh, yeah, that series.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
It's a good one.
Isn't that just Skylanders?
Probably. Is Crash in Skylanders?
I think he is now. Oh. I think so. That was
that's a relevant game.
I'm just saying, like, towards the end of that game's life, they added Crash Bandicoot, and that was the thing of like
they own him, so why not?
Bandicoot design, and does that mean we're getting a new Crash Bandicoot game? And then we got a new Crash Bandicoot game.
We sure did. But yeah, for you, Pokemon, right? And for me, Zelda.
Yep.
Because there you go. There it is.
Yeah. Boy Zelda.
Boy Zelda, indeed. Moving on. Good question. Thanks, Colorful Commentary. See you next time. Sam Diaz asks, any strange or unique holiday tradition in both y'all's families?
Strange or unique?
I have some answers to this question.
I mean, not really. Our freaking traditions are pretty basic.
Such as
you freaking go like Christmas Eve. We do like the whole freaking like we go to my aunt's house and like do the whole white elephant situation, dude.
Classic.
Which is basic AF.
Pretty much.
And then once we get back from that, we go home. We open the first gift, and then we freaking go to sleep, dude. Go to sleep. And then my little brother, he like woke up and he's like, "Hey, let's open gifts and stuff, man." And I'm like, "No, it's 3:00 in the morning." And
my parents did, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, and then he goes back to sleep, and then 4:45, he's like, "Let's open gift." I'm like, "Shut up!" And then 6:00, we freaking open gifts or whatever, and then everybody comes over, and then we eat food, and it's like the Thanksgiving food because Thanksgiving is just worse Christmas. That type of crap.
True.
And we just are like freaking either playing games all day or mad that we can't spend the hundreds of dollars of gift cards. Or just staring at these freaking gift cards. You can't do that because nobody wants to go nowhere. Rip.
That sounds like a great day. Look forward to it.
But it's basic, dude. And it's not going to happen this year. It's like, man, now it's just spending money on other people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my the time thing definitely. I remember one time when my parents set it a time that we could not wake them up before 7 a.m. because but I could get up at like 6 and open my own stocking. And like so stockings were free for all. Like you didn't have to do it with anybody else around. It was just whatever. Which I appreciate because like now that I'm married and have in-laws, like just our families are super different. So I think like it's funny comparing our traditions with each other's. But I remember one year when I was 6, I went downstairs and I guess I opened mine and my sister's stockings and found a jump rope in hers and was so excited about it. Cause like at the time I was like, this is my jump rope. It's for me. And later found out like, no, that's your sister's. So like went in at 4 a.m, woke up my parents. I was like, thanks for this jump rope, and was like jumping and stuff. And dude, please go back to sleep. This is not the time. So that was how that precedent got set.
That was like the stocking thing wasn't a thing for me.
Okay.
And then also depending on age, like I feel like after I turned like 11, and I think I talked about this. Oh no. I don't know. I mean, if you're freaking, if you're like under 13 or you're a very innocent person, run away, man. Run away.
But the Christmas surprise.
Yeah, once I got to a certain age, my dad was like, yo, forget that, dude. Just like, here's a computer. Here's Amazon. Here's my Amazon account.
Yeah.
Pick the things that you want. So like, after it got to that point, it was like, they would throw in some other crap that like I didn't ask for. It's like, oh, this is like that's a surprise. You got me freaking, I don't know, Crash Bandicoot or something that I would never actually ask for. But other than that, it was like just gifts that I knew I was going to get, and it was just like, this box looks like it's the thing that I want. And that box.
That's true. That is a thing. Yeah, it is funny. I think for me, just now. Like, so my family, I don't think we had Christmas in the same house more than like 2 years in a row ever, pretty much. Not because, I mean, we moved a lot, but then also even in a house that we'd be in for like 5 years or something, which is the most that I have ever been in the same house. Halfway through we'd be like, oh, this Christmas we're going to my grandparents' house in, another country or something like that. So yeah, that just ended up being, we have very few like specific traditions as far as like what we eat. Several years we've had Chinese fondue, and which is pretty much
what is that?
It's like instead of fondue, like kind of think about that in terms of there's something in the middle and everybody dips things in, except for instead it's like a light oil kind of thing, like and then you put like veggies or meats or whatever in it. And then you just like, they kind of fry in there, not just cook in the like oil, like vegetable oil or whatever.
So it's like the open grill, sort of like when you go to like a Korean restaurant.
Yeah,
or like
that kind of a thing.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, it's one of those, and you got like a little thing that you like scoop it out with. It's a little like wire basket kind of thing. Whoop.
Yeah.
And then it's that. So we'll do that, or like raclette or fondue or something, because we were in France, so that just made sense. But we have like no specific traditions. By contrast, my in-laws family, like, traditions out the wazoo. Like, that's all. It's just, you know.
Is
so
it like to the letter? Like, we do this at this time, and like these people got to do it this, and then you do that part, and then you do this part. Is it like that, or is it like
not like annoyingly so, but closer to that in any case. So that's it's just funny to compare they're both good, but it's just funny to like the difference between them. So yeah, that's stuff like we'll go to. Last night we went to the Dancing Lights of Christmas, which is like the 4th year that we've done that. And then, except for Ashley was sick, so we actually, whatever. So that, and like, I don't know, some other things. However, the only Christmas tradition that's one that I've done every single year since I was born, except for stupid 2004, yeah, dumb old 2004, was watch A Christmas Story.
I've never seen that.
It is. Here's the thing. I was waiting for Christmas time to get to talk about this. There's a lot of people, specifically in the U.S., who, because it's on every Christmas on TBS, like nonstop, they're like, yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of A Christmas Story. It's not very good. Here's the thing.
I haven't seen any part of it. Not a single clip.
It's super good. It's so funny and like really, really well paced, where like there's probably 5 or 6 different storylines that kind of go throughout the movie, but they all start and end at different spots, but like in a really well, like, oh, and in this chapter, like, while that's going on over there, here's this. And like, there's just so many little jokes that are really well done. Like, it's really good, but because it gets played so often in the States, it's just like people who have that experience of it just, I think, are like, yeah, I don't like it because it's on all the time, you know.
I don't have anything because I don't watch things.
Right.
Little known fact. I don't watch things. So like, there's never been like the closest I've ever come to like that being a thing of like every year we watch this is like my ex. She like always watched Home Alone.
Elf.
All the Home Alones, all of them.
Oh wow.
With her little brother. So I was like, okay, well, this is a thing that apparently I gotta freaking suffer through. But yeah, that's the closest I've ever come to that.
Yep. So that's the only one. The only reason we did it in 2004 was because that was the year we had just moved to Belgium, and all of our stuff was supposed to have gotten shipped, and it was like super delayed. So I didn't have my guitar for like 6 months, which was stupid. But yeah, and but also we didn't have our DVD of A Christmas Story, so we didn't get to watch it that year. And there wasn't an Amazon, and there wasn't, it's 2004, so like they're not gonna have A Christmas Story in Belgium. I mean, they might now, but at the time they definitely didn't. And yeah, so we had a great Christmas time, and Belgium is great, but they need to get A Christmas Story.
I mean, just
Stryker, if you're listening, you probably haven't seen A Christmas Story, but enjoy.
Just like getting on freaking iTunes or Amazon or something.
Yep.
You probably can't get it on Amazon because they have like regional.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah. Who's to say? But moving on, that's a great question, Sam Diaz. Here we go. Moving on. Twitter questions from last week. Bianca Wicks asks, what's a stupid but boring thing a video game character does / you've made a character do that you've totally done or would do in real life? Example, spend all your money on capsule toys. I even read this one last week, and it's hard.
I don't know. I remember I used to so my older brother, we both
I thought of one. Okay,
both
cool.
really like Pokemon. That was that's our thing. Even to this day, he's like, "Hey, let's play a Pokemon game or whatever." Right?
Yep.
I used to like, and I had my own Pokemon game, and I like always had this, but I used to always go on his save and spend all his money on Pokeballs because I just felt like he was never prepared enough, dude. It was like, man, like you need more Pokeballs. You got like 12 Pokeballs, man. Like, how you going to catch Pokemon funny. Like that? So I like spend all his money on Pokeballs. I would probably spend all his money on Pokeballs in real life.
So you've made a video game character do it. You haven't made your video game character do it, but his video game character all the way.
Exactly.
I think for mine, to some degree, hoarding stuff. Like, I am more proactive about it in real life, but like in games, I'll pick up every item. Like, you should see and especially like hoarding. I would love hoarding money to be more of a thing in real life, but in games, 100%. And like, that's still my mentality in real life, but there's just more actual things that have to come up. But like in games, I'll like scrape by with like crappy stuff a lot of times and have all this money that I could spend on something. And I just don't, because I'm like, I'm saving it for later. Or whatever.
Why'd you turn into Goofy?
Who's to say? And moving along. Next question, also Bianca Wicks from this week, said, what are my boys' plans for the holidays? Hope you're taking some much needed time off.
What day is Christmas?
Wednesday.
Okay, well, I'll be chilling out for a little bit, man. Because if it was like last year, well, yeah, obviously last year I was freaking making my video.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm always making my video to some extent. Like if it's not on Christmas, it's on my birthday.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, dude. And like, I don't know. I'll probably be doing some version of that. And if not, I'll be hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And I'll probably lead to Smash Brothers. So like business as usual, man.
Yep. Yeah, I have from like day job work, I've got the 24th and 25th off. And we're going to Knoxville to see my family, which is like 3 hours away from us or so. But we'll be there literally for the afternoon of the 24th that night, and then driving back at the end of Sunday because I have to get back to work on the 26th. Oof. Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing my video a little bit ahead of time, but then that'll be out on the 26th. So there's that. So not really taking much time off, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's harder for me to actively do that.
Uh-huh.
Because like,
yeah, right.
I would have to force myself to do it, and not in the way that people would have to force, like, because they're like, oh, just like a workaholic or whatever. But like, no, like a lot of my work is like stuff I would do anyway.
Yeah, so, right, like, exactly. Whereas, yeah, mine just like looks distinctively different. Like either I'm on my computer doing things with this stuff, or / at an office doing things with stuff, or I'm not doing that and doing other things.
Yes.
And that's work or not work. So there's that for you. A pro tip on life. That's what work or not work looks like. Next question. John Francis asks, are my doggos cute? And they're very cute. We saw his, he sent them on Twitter.
On Twitter. Today?
Yeah, man.
Okay, wait, let me go. Probably yes. Most likely.
Meanwhile, my dogs in the background are, well, one of them specifically barking.
100%. Can confirm. Definitely.
Can confirm. Cute doggos. I like it.
For sure.
So there you go.
Dog, man. I don't have a dog.
You do need a dog.
I do.
You can't have either of mine, but you know what? You can look at them and tell them hi. And any other things that don't involve you taking them and stuff. Moving along. His actual question, he said, real question though. Parker, you said we shouldn't worry about what the big N, Nintendo, is doing, I guess, for 2020. Number one, AJ, do you agree and why? And number two, predict what some games we may not know about but could come out next year.
I agree. For the reasons that he said. Like, I mean, no, legitimately, like, I think that, like, they generally keep their cards close to their chest, and they're like, hey, like, we're not announcing things that aren't 4 months away.
Yeah, for
the most part. So like, there's no reason to worry about it until after the fact, honestly. Mm-hmm. In retrospect, like, people didn't go through 2018, which is like the year that people are like, the worst year, which I think people are stupid. But yeah, people didn't go through 2018 being like, this is definitely the worst year.
Yeah.
But at the end of 2018, they're like, oh yeah, it's the worst year.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I had a great time in 2018, and I think a lot of other people did too. They were like, I guess maybe they felt like, I'm playing this game while I'm waiting for something different to come out or whatever. But like, if you're enjoying your time playing that thing while you're waiting for some hypothetical non-thing, like, I don't know, it seems weird.
Exactly. You know? I think that people hyped up 2018 to be exactly what 2017 was, and because it wasn't 2017, then that in their mind made it worse. Yeah. But me looking at what 2017 was compared, because like, even if like for this year, I still mostly played Smash Bros. That was a 2018 game, right? But even with that, I'm still playing all, if not most, of what came out in 2019 anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So I played the 2018 games, and I can tell you that the 2018 games that came out were great.
Yeah.
Some of them might have felt lackluster to people that are like weird because they're like, oh, well, the 12 people that own the Wii U played this game, so it's not as good. And I think that's dumb, but
yep.
It's not the question you asked. But yes, I agree.
But yeah, exactly. So it was stuff. And then the second half of the question, predict some games that we might not know about but could come out?
Pokemon, Diamond and Pearl remake, probably.
Are you thinking that for 2020?
Yes. If not, then Pokemon Let's Go or freaking Pokemon, what did we say? Royal Sword and Shields.
Yep.
There's going to be some type of Pokemon thing because there's been a Pokemon thing every year for the past, 5, 6, 10 years.
Yeah. Pretty much since X and Y, right? Or since even before that, maybe?
I think before that. Maybe X and Y.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe X and Y. Well, other than that, I think Breath of the Wild is looking. That are going to be announced or come out? Yeah. That we don't know about. So that we don't know about.
I think there's a lot of still pretty easy ones as far as Pikmin 4 or
I think we'll probably see a Mario game that we don't know about, but it's going to be a Mario game.
And then on the complete opposite side, there's going to be ones that just we couldn't have guessed even at all, things we just don't know about. But as far as actual predictions,
I think we'll see a new Sonic game. I don't think it'll come out next year though. Maybe it'll come out towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I could see that. It's been long enough. It's been 3 years at this point since the last 3D Sonic game.
Yeah.
Good for better or for worse. I could see a Pikmin game for sure. Whether that's a port of 3 probably, and then 4 maybe announced. And then
re-announced.
Yeah, right, exactly. I bet a new IP of some sort.
Yeah.
Something. But that could also be a small game, like The Stretchers was technically a new IP and whatever. So
I think there will be another port that previously people were like, this game never come this way. Because we always get at least one of those.
Yeah. The question is, what would that be at this point?
I think every game that's a next gen game, people still think that way, even if Witcher is probably the most technically impressive game that we've gotten so far. This is still it's still a game that pushes the current gen consoles that aren't Switch.
Yeah.
So I think that it would be stupid to be like, well, there's no more impressive game than that, except for maybe Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the next game that's oh man, this probably can't happen ever. So if that comes to Switch, maybe.
Yeah, maybe at that point it's less of a question of the ones that are more technically impressive than the last one, like The Witcher would be in that case, and more just something that I don't know, like GTA,
how likely is the
like
developer or whatever to
right.
I think but that's the thing. I think even GTA is not really surprising.
It's not.
GTA could be a game that they could release at any time and it would make sense.
Yeah, I think makes sense would be different than be super hype or whatever for a lot of people. Yeah, I personally wouldn't care for me, but that's besides the point. I don't know. Pretty easily.
I don't really care either, but
yeah. How dare you?
I care industry wise. That's an important game to have on everything because that's just the game that people buy when they buy consoles.
Yeah, right. And it sounds like from what a lot of people said, it's more of a space constraint issue of you know, 32 gig carts or 64 gig carts or whatever. Right. So if there's some way around that, if those get cheaper or whatever, then that's probably.
Or they just realize that it's Grand Theft Auto and they're going to sell enough to,
Yeah, right. So that stuff. But yeah, good questions. At some point we'll probably do more prediction-y things as the year goes on too, and as things make more sense,
videos and stuff like that.
But for now,
just right now, it's shooting in the dark, being not really much to go on right now.
Indeed. Now questions from Discord, and there's a whole bunch of them. Mega Man said, I asked this a few weeks ago, but now with two awesomely busy podcasts, it hasn't gotten to be answered. What DLC content would you like to see for Pokemon?
I want to see which Justin hit me up because I want to like extrapolate on that situation and make it a video. I want to see like some type of additional region content added to Pokemon, whether that be Kalos or freaking Alola or whatever. I'm down for that.
I think new Pokemon would be cool. Yeah, exactly. New Pokemon or old Pokemon or whatever. Because like Ultra Beasts, some of those essentially in Ultra Sun and Moon were DLC, right? Whereas like just added new Pokemon all of a sudden randomly.
I want them to also add like more multiplayer modes. Like I want some type of multi-battle online mode where you can do like the battle tower with a friend online. That'd be dope. That would be something that me and Bob would probably do on streams, and he'll get carried.
Yep. Maybe honestly some kind of well, it probably would have to be in a different region, so like Kalos or something like that, but some kind of story mode sort of thing, a side thing of some variety. I don't know exactly.
Spoilers, there's probably going to be several videos about stuff like this in the future.
Yep. But yeah, that's some DLC content.
Maybe not from Parker. So Parker, get all your ideas out because who knows?
Yeah. Dude. Also, give us Breath of the Wild in.
Yeah, just make Pokemon Sword Breath of the Wild.
Except for what I'm saying is actually give us just a very wild breath, just like.
Or just let us climb every tree.
I mean, that's all we ever need, really. You know, just give some chestnuts up in there or something. Hopefully that answered your question.
Or just, berries that are already like in the trees.
I think the logic, I mean, I understand the way that those berries work, as far as like it's risk reward of how long, blah, blah, blah. But it's just such a funny thing of like, while you were fighting them, other Pokemon all just came up and ate the berries. And you're like, I don't know. Something about it's funny to me. But nevertheless, next question. 8-Bit Bomber says, if you could port any game to the Switch, what would you choose? I'd want Banjo-Kazooie 1 and 2.
Ooh. So my mind goes in a lot of different places here. Because it's like, on one end, it's like, grow the community and all that stuff. Like, that'd be cool. Because, I mean, that works for us in multiple ways, both as consumers and creators. It's good that more people own Switch. So, like, on that level, I would want, like, like the Maddens and the freaking Grand Theft Autos and the Call of Duties and that type of crap. But also, for me, I want Banjo. That'd be dope. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I want like Pokemon Heart Gold, but like remade, like do it again. And it would make people mad because like another Kanto game. I don't give a crap if you're mad, dude. Be mad. But like, yeah, give me Heart Gold and the freaking Sword and Shield engine. That'd be dope. And then I don't know, freaking Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it would be probably mostly some more classic Nintendo games, because there's not that many like third-party games.
Classic. What do you?
Yeah, mean? I'll get to it. But yeah, I mean, just as far as like what I care less about, there's fewer third-party games that I'm like, man, I just wish I could play it. There's some.
See, this is
I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but like
answers are very off brand because I gave the equivalent of like I want to cure world hunger, and you're like I want everything for me. It's mine. I don't care about you.
Yep. I mean, it's if the question is if you could port any game, I mean, yeah, it's it could go either way. But yeah, as far as like for me to play, I think I know too. I've got a backlog of lots of games and generations that I've missed. So like things that I'd like to experience for the first time, but in the comfort of a Switch. So, I mean, honestly, we've talked about it before, but I've yet to play Wind Waker.
You know what else you haven't played? Pokemon Ultra Moon.
So true.
Free product provided by Nintendo. And you just like, maybe it's your fault, dude.
It probably is.
Because you
never said it wasn't.
It's all your fault, man.
But yeah, I'd probably say more like classic games along those lines. So like the Mario Galaxies and Wind Waker and that kind of stuff. Like just some of Nintendo's evergreen titles that I would like to be made available now.
Because I do not have that. in the sense of like a formal, like, this is my backlog games that I'm going to, like, I don't have that. There's games that I would like to play, but like, it's not going to happen unless they come to Switch. It's just, it's all right, not going to happen. So like, if those games do come to Switch, then I'm 1 million times more likely to play through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, put those on there. Sure, why not?
All right, so Grimhane said a bunch of comments. Here we go. Here's some of what he said. The first one is, so now that Smash DLC is officially canceled forever, what game will Nintendo throw their weight behind to support more?
Nothing. All games are canceled because no game matters as much as Smash Brothers. Sorry about it.
I want to come up with a real answer, but obviously it's a joke question. But yeah, obviously it's Divinity Original Sin 2. Because that's Nintendo's prerogative. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. But yeah, no. Seriously, there's no game that Nintendo could support in this way and it be an event like that. Even if you don't play Smash Brothers.
Even Mario Kart, honestly, yeah. I mean, because
what Smash Brothers is a celebration of video games. So like, even if you don't actively play Smash Brothers, if a character comes in from a video game that you like, you're going to pay attention.
Yep. And that's why with the like Mario Kart video that I was talking about, I think the whole Nintendo Kart thing really is like a slippery slope of then every franchise of theirs is a celebration of video games in that medium or whatever, which like lessens Smash and sets way too high expectations for all the other ones.
For every other game, yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well now like we're going to get the whole Smash roster, but in all these other categories. So like that's probably a bad idea. So it's better to have them be like little one-offs or whatever. So even like with Mario Kart.
But also, like, I think that Smash Brothers is like uniquely equipped to be that. Because like Mario Kart, the most you can do is like with Link and Mario Kart, right? It's like, oh, when he jumps, he pulls out the Master Sword. That's neat. But like literally the way a character moves and jumps and sounds and you know,
everything
like,
is related to that.
That's all referential to that character. There's only been so much you can do in other genres. To make them like that. Like Mega Man literally plays like Mega Man.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the Street Fighter characters, you know, like all that, the fact that you can have the button inputs be the same thing. It's like, that's pretty dope.
Like that sort of thing. You can't really do that in other genres.
Next question from Grimhane says, cake or pie? Fanatix Foods.
We already had this one, but
we
like,
did.
Since cheesecake is pie, then it's pie.
Yeah, pie's great. Pie. So, you know what I'm saying?
Pie is just the one. And I know people are like, but have you had like whatever cake? And this, okay, like talking about food, it's my least, this is my least favorite part about talking about food because people, whenever you're like, I don't like this or I do like this. And then people are like, but have you tried this version of this?
Right.
This will change your whole perspective.
And that's also not to say, I mean, like if there's 3 cakes that are even that are the best, and then all of the pies, and then the rest of cakes, which that's not the way it is. But like, if that were the case, still like the general consensus of all of the pies would still outweigh the top 3. You know
right. Like if there's 15 pies that I like, and I'm like, pies are great because these 15 pies, and then somebody's like, did you try these 2 cakes though? I'm not going to then be like, oh, well, I'm throwing all 15 pies out the window then because that 2 cakes that somebody brought up, it just changes everything, dude.
True.
So pie
comment
is the answer.
Chicken pot pie. Next question. Grimhane, continuing, said, when will the January Direct be? What will it cover? And will Smash fans be disappointed when the Microsoft Word paperclip is the 5th fighter announced in it? No, they won't.
100%. Definitely. No matter who they announce, the people are going to be disappointed because that's also the nature of Smash Brothers. It covers so much that the things that it chooses not to cover then become a disappointment for the people. It's like, oh, I want to be represented, dude. But yeah. Also, I hope that it's in February just to spite people if they start calling it the January Direct. I hope it's in April if people start calling it the January Direct.
I'm thinking towards the end of January would be my guess.
Like, I'm not guessing
second to last week
because it is so arbitrary. It's just a thing of like the first Direct that they do of the year, whatever month they choose to do it in, because literally anything can happen. They could say that they want to do it in January, and then the internet could explode or YouTube is canceled, you know, and then they got to find a new platform, and it's like, oh, we got to push it back.
I think the Smash Fighter really is the only thing that makes it feel like it should, but they could also do that just on their own. Just do like a trailer
but
drop.
Even with that, they said that he said by
the end of February.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It could still be February.
Yeah. They do. I mean, Shadow Drop or like he's out next week or anything like that. So it's just a question of their marketing cycle and how they want that to work. So yeah. And then the last one. We already answered this last week. This was the only Q&A we did. The Office and Parks and Rec. Justify your answer, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And it was The Office, y'all.
I don't think I had said anything during that.
You didn't.
But I saw some of The Office. I never saw Parks and Rec. So like I can't like
they're both great just for different reasons.
Yeah, but I don't watch things Parker we established.
I'm fully aware.
So
fully
like,
aware.
I don't know, dude, and I'll never know. So like I guess I'm canceled then. But like
Probably.
Who cares, man? You know?
Probably you would care, I would guess.
Why would
Duncan,
I care? I don't care.
If you're canceled, you know, because if you don't exist anymore. Duncan says
I just canceled my own self.
Cool. All right, here we go. Duncan says, would you rub Vin Diesel's bald head for good luck like a Buddha?
What? No. I don't know what he does with that.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I don't know what it's been.
I mean, I don't think it would be effective at all, but if I met Vin Diesel, who I don't really care about one way or another at all, but if he was like, hey man, what's up?
You want to rub my head?
Rub my head like for good luck, like a Buddha. I'd be like
a Buddha.
I guess, whatever. Here we go.
No, like, I would back away slowly. I would like, what are you insane?
Depends how he's asking too. Like if he's like,
how do you possibly ask somebody to rub your head and not sound like a freaking lunatic, dude?
How do you not? You know
what?
Hey, I'm just non sequiturs. That's the name of the game. Just say little phrases and see what happens. Next question, still from Duncan, says, who do you blame for Half-Life Alex bailing last second on the Game Awards? What is your weapon of choice for the inevitable riot?
I blame Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know.
I'll
say Valve because it's easy to blame stuff on Valve. I
just want to thank the stars once again. That freaking Death Stranding was not the game of the year.
I just want to thank some stars. I want to thank Vin Diesel for letting me rub his head like a Buddha. He's a star.
I mean, it depends on what you ask, dude.
I mean, you don't have to like him necessarily for him to be like a star. Like if they just mean celebrity, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
it's at a certain caliber. It's kind of more objective than subjective, probably.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, how many people just see Vin Diesel completely removed from any context, and they're like, "That's Vin Diesel," and not just like, "That's a bald dude."
I don't know. It was funny. I saw the interview of Tom Hanks on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel for the Mr. Rogers movie. And it was Jeopardy that week had the clip of him walking in. And it was like, who is this celebrity that's playing Mr. Rogers? And nobody was able to guess. And
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Like, yeah.
Like I'm sure, like there's going to be one person that realizes, and then it's a domino effect of like, oh, everybody else is excited that this random bald dude's here. Must be Vin Diesel, you know.
I think more people would realize, but who's to say? You know,
I don't know.
Next comment: do y'all think a shadow drop for Fighters Pass number 5 is possible?
Sure.
I mean, again, depends on their marketing and stuff. Depends what it is also too. Like there's some I think that they would want to hype up.
I think it depends on what you define as a shadow drop, because they already shadow drop all of them pretty much, except for Terry.
No, because Banjo was also not. I think the only one shadow dropped was Hero, because Joker.
They shadow dropped Banjo. They just released the video. They didn't say when they were going to do it.
Right. I think what. Okay, well, yeah, I guess you're right. It depends what you mean a shadow drop. I'm thinking of it as announcement
like
release.
We don't even know what the character is.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they're going to do that.
I wouldn't think, because the only one wasn't Hero available later that day. I think so.
Yes,
but I think that's the only one that, like, just from knowledge to it happening was like, a shadow drop. But so I doubt that for the last one especially, but depends on who it is. Like there may be some characters that they could do that with, but probably not.
No, I think because Terry was like the only reason why I wouldn't define him as a shadow drop is because they said the day before that they were going to do the direct thingy. And then even sooner than the other ones, Terry was just out. He was just there. Like you didn't have to wait until like 9 or whatever. Like he was playable pretty immediately after I actually watched the direct. He was already in the game.
Okay.
So it was. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
I forgot about that. But then in that case, yeah, maybe.
So I think it's impossible for them to completely shadow drop a character.
Yes.
And, like it be a thing of like
without it be data mine and stuff
that we didn't. I don't know about it. Like because the only thing that people will be able to data mine is the character, like the actual update, because they don't put like the characters in there anymore. Because the reason why like Hero got data mine and all that stuff is because they put the data of the characters in there. It's like who's Jack, like that. Type of
yeah.
But barring that they don't do that, I just think that they wouldn't say like brand new Smash Brothers Sakurai Let's Play or whatever, this character that you never saw before. Yeah. Like I don't think they would do that. They would announce who the character is and do the whole like reveal trailer thing and then say like, oh, we'll freaking see him later at whatever.
Agreed. And the last question from Duncan: white bread or whole grain? Depends on the context for sure. Like grilled cheese, white bread. Duh, yeah, obviously. But like if it's like a fancy, sandwich with a bunch of stuff on it, whole grain. Yeah. Most of the time, I would probably go like whole grain kind of direction.
Usually, I think like if I'm going to buy bread, it's usually some type of like combination of like whole grain. Like it's not just like straight up like here's freaking like whole grain bread. It's like wheat with other crap. So it's like
with little seeds and crunchies on it and stuff like that.
It's like less healthy than freaking whole grain, but it's not like just pure sugar like white bread.
True. But if I'm making grilled cheeses, y'all better believe it's white bread or like PB&J or something like that. Like, come on.
You're putting PB&J on your grilled cheese?
Yeah. PB and grilled cheese. It's like that's the new thing. That's always been the thing. Sarati says, does xCloud on Switch look more or less likely to y'all?
Then
more.
When? More or less likely.
I think maybe because this was from last week, so it was right after the Game Awards. So maybe around that time. So
I think just as likely as it did before. I think it's likely. I think that. At this point, especially from their messaging, it sounds like it's an inevitability.
Yeah. I think it sounds like it's more on Nintendo's side is the question mark rather than Microsoft. Because the way Microsoft says it, they'll use words like, we want you to play it any of the places that you want to be able to play it, which is like, okay, well, the Switch, that's a place. So there you go.
That's a place.
Yeah. I think there's a great chance. And if it doesn't happen, it's on Nintendo's side of not wanting it for some reason. Off our earlier discussion, what about Xbox One being the budget option for next gen? Also, why is Fire Emblem 3 so amazing?
What about
I think having like the Xbox Series X be the like high end thing. It doesn't sound like it. Unless I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, it sounds like from all the like rumors and stuff that there's the Anaconda and the Lockhart, and Xbox Series X is the Anaconda, which is like the high end one, and then there's going to be a new one that's still a new one, but is probably closer to the Xbox One S. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then that one is the Lockhart and is like the budget option, but it's still different from the Xbox One as it is right now.
Yeah, I think if anything, like
if that's what you're even asking.
Yeah, I think that what they're planning on doing is what Apple comes out with the freaking iPhone 11 Pro Max and 11 Pro and the 11.
You got it.
Right? And then they also keep the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 8 and then they drop the the 7 and the 7 Plus and all that crap. Like I think it'll just move down the.
I think that One X is going to still be around for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
I think they'll drop the S, and then the X will become where the S is price wise, and then they'll have the freaking, and maybe even replace the S, the freaking all digital one. Maybe even replace that with an X, all digital, and then do the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X.
So there's always a bunch of different price points that you can get into the ecosystem that's kind of fluctuating up.
Exactly.
I agree with that. I think that's definitely the way it's going to be. And also said, why is Fire Emblem Three Houses so amazing?
I don't know. I've been trying to understand it for freaking, 5 months now or whatever. When does this game come out?
About 5 months. Because it was July 25th.
Oh, yeah.
No, July 28th.
Like
I want to say July 28th. We'll go with that. Next up, Patar35. Grim Hain took my question on the January Direct. Yeah. So, how many games do y'all have in your Switch library? Also, how many have you played for more than 100 hours? I've got...
Okay, define library. Do you mean that are installed on my Switch? Is that what you mean? Because that... Installed on my Switch is a much more reasonable number.
I actually have a number that's about right. Probably missing one or two, but 60 is about accurate, more or less.
That are installed or that you have? Period?
That I have bought or have received review copies for.
Okay, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, what, about like 54 on my Switch right now.
Nice.
Altogether, like 200. But yeah, on my Switch, like 50 something.
Yep. I'm adding Luigi's Mansion 3 to my list right now. Something around the 60 mark for me. But yeah, there you go. How many have you played for more than 100 hours? Like 3, I want to say.
Okay, let's see. Freaking Smash Brothers. Duh. Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
Pokemon. I think that's it. Those 3. No, Splatoon. Splatoon's also in there.
Mine,
that's it. 4.
I've got Breath of the Wild, obviously. Octopath Traveler. Xenoblade Chronicles. Actually, no, that one's not quite there. I'm at like 80 something, I want to say. And then there's a couple that are close, like Stardew Valley, I think it's like 85. I played a whole lot of that towards the beginning. And I think that's it. I think it's just Breath of the Wild and Octopath Traveler. But there's a bunch of other RPGs that have.
I'm trying to check for sure.
I'll ask the next question while you check. Which one is your favorite Breath of the Wild? Which one is your least favorite of the ones that we played 100 hours?
Okay, yeah. So Smash Brothers, Pokemon, Splatoon 2.
I do have 75 hours in Smash Brothers and 75 in Three Houses. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, that's it. 4. I have 4 games that I put at least 100 hours in.
Yep.
It's a huge drop off. It's like freaking Smash Brothers, and then far under that is Splatoon 2, and then like a good amount under that is Pokemon, and then everything else.
But yeah, what's your most favorite and least favorite of those, I guess? Or just maybe in games in general? I don't know. It's hard to nail down.
Least favorite of the games that are like in my library, or just like out of the top?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
I'm just going to say Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered because that's an easy one. But of the 100-hour ones, I don't.
So least favorite game in my library, I'm going to have to say Dauntless. Because it's the only one that I didn't play because I don't care.
There you go. And then he asks, is this too many questions? I don't know.
Nah.
We'll say nah. Lizdrin asks, if you were if you were only using Galarian Pokemon and no legacy Pokemon that show up in Galar, what would your competitive team look like? It would be fun to get on Pokemon Showdown with this rule set to see who knows their stuff.
Okay, freaking Galarian Corsola, because I mean not Corsola, because Corsola is dumb compared to Corsola broken. Okay, you said Galarian, so I can't use freaking Braviary or Ditto.
But you can use Corviknight.
Yeah, but Corviknight's not like he's not like in the meta, dude.
I don't know, but he's cool. Yeah, mine would be not meta at all.
Galarian Darmanitan, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So how much is that? Freaking 2?
2.
I don't know. You gotta get back to me on that. Just Galarian Pokemon, I don't know, because there's a lot of Pokemon that I know are good and like they do on the meta, but they're not Galarian. Oh, the freaking Dracovish or what? The blue boy with the he can't breathe on land. That one, he's good.
Yeah. Mine would look exactly like it looked during the game. Probably.
Did you only have Galarian Pokemon on there?
Yep. I sure did. Yeah. I mean, which I think you did too during some of it. Or at least.
Yeah, I mean, I had mostly Galarian Pokemon. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I had mine.
I wouldn't put like freaking Intelligent, because I don't think any of the starters are good enough.
Right.
For like,
I would just leave them because I would. Is there a better water Pokemon from the Galarian side though? I mean, if you need water coverage at all, I guess is the question.
I don't know. I can't think right now.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's barely any water Pokemon from Galar, so it's weird. But yeah, good question. That's a tricky one for you and an obvious one for me. Sorry T says, how long before we start to see refurbished Switch lights?
Give it like 8 months. Probably sooner than that if you're not talking like through Nintendo. I think Nintendo
I mean, there's probably
starts to list them when they have like a buffer.
Yeah,
but I think other like you could probably get a freaking refurbished one from GameStop.
I'm looking now
or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Switch Lite, and we're gonna find out. No. Maybe they don't have any just yet, but I mean, yeah, they've only been out for like 3 months, so probably won't be too long. Okay, but yeah, not too long before refurbished lights. I think Grimhane asked a couple of questions here. Here we go. What are some things you would change about the hardware of the Switch if you could?
I'd make the Joy-Cons better.
Yeah, I think that's an easy answer. I was thinking the same thing. Hardware-wise, I mean, like, it would be cool to have a better screen. I mean, it's a good screen, but like a 1080p screen. Like, why not?
I mean, I don't really care about that per se.
I don't really either, but like,
I want like if anything about the screen, maybe a bigger screen.
Yeah,
like a smaller bezel.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of the stuff that I want, I don't know how like technologically feasible it is. Make it a little thinner. Like that sort of stuff. Maybe. Give me like, you know what? Something that's not a technological thing. Let me make the Switch a different color, like itself.
Yep.
Like, I want my Switch to match my. I want all blue. I want a blue Switch, regular one, not Switch Lite.
So Ashley has a Switch now, and I got a different backplate. This is my Switch, but I got a different backplate to put on hers for Christmas, just because I know that she likes things to look pretty. So there you go. So that will look different. I'll put that on whenever it gets here at some point over the weekend. I'll let you guys know how that goes, because I have no idea if it's going to be easy or not. We'll find out. And then Grimhane continues to ask, what, if any, plans for the channel do you have that you are okay talking about? Maybe a Parker stream?
That's something, Parker. We got the equipment.
We do. I tested it out. You did. I tested it out. It seems like it's working all right. I haven't tested the YouTube integration part itself, but like as far as getting things to work, I'm most of the way there, I think. So, I mean, we may have computer crashing issues apparently if that was a thing just there, but I'll figure that out. Yeah, I think so. That question is just for timing, I think, as far as
I think that's the biggest thing is like we got to figure out timing, because like if we can I'm pretty like, because my schedule is flexible, obviously. So like if we could figure that, like I was talking about, I want to do like a Nuzlocke. So like if we could do like a freaking like dual Nuzlocke. But then I was also talking about, because I was like I wanted to do Shield, but like, why? Because we both got swords, so it's like it's not like we would even be like playing the opposite versions of each other. We would both be playing Shield to play a different version, you know? Right? Which, I mean, it'd still be interesting inherently, because like we're both playing through something different, and we're playing through it together and seeing like oh crap, my freaking Pokemon fan and I can't or whatever, right? But yeah, just doing stuff like that, because like there's not really much streamers like that.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's all like, even with like Wolfden or whatever, and us currently, it's just one guy, you know? Yeah. So like if we could do it where it's both of us doing something, I think that could be cool. But we just got to figure out timing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the thing with me, is just having the 2 nights a week that I do stuff, and then having, you know, a wife and job and things like that. It's figuring out where to slot in something else to be able to do that.
So TLDR, you want more stuff? Freaking subscribe, Twitch Prime, dude.
Yeah. Specifically to you, Grimhane, because you got to subscribe, because you haven't yet. Obviously.
Yeah, man. No, I was just generally, that's what needs to happen. More people with Twitch Prime, freaking click the join button.
True. But yeah, I think there's hopes for those kinds of things. It's just, and
just
we'll see what plans turn into.
I like taking a zoomed out look on it and seeing what we can make happen, you know?
Last question from Grimhane. For AJ, if Parker was a Pokemon, which would he be? Same for Parker, but with AJ. Bonus Pokemon, what Pokemon do you each think you would be?
Didn't we answer this?
I feel like
we answered this. But I think it was like Parker would be like somebody like a Pokemon that's like chill. Like a freaking like slow.
I mean, Max said I was going to be Greedent. So
it's true.
Why not?
Yeah, because he said you got like the goofy and also the beard.
The goofy beard.
Yeah, no, like the goofy energy, dude. Like he has the like the yeah, like he has like that. Yeah,
and whatnot.
But yeah, like just like something that's like chill and like laid back, dude.
And you're obviously Inteleon.
I don't know. So I don't know what that means. All right.
I don't know. It was supposed to maybe be an insult, but not really. So.
I don't even know what it means.
Who's to say? Yeah, that's.
And then I don't know, dude. I don't.
The tricky thing is like Pokemon are individually species, so they're not always like, I feel like there's different Pikachus that have different personalities too. So like, you know, you couldn't necessarily, you could say like, I'm like Ash's Pikachu, but like maybe somebody else is like Pikachu, but they're like Sparky or whatever, like dude from, right?
Yeah, that's Richie's Pikachu.
Richie.
Sparky.
Yep. Yeah. So who's to say? Grimhane, who do you think we would be Pokemon-wise? Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Pokemon are we to you?
Yeah, Grimhane. That is so true. And the last question from Multi said, what are some applications / features that you guys would like on the Switch? A lot of people have been asking for Netflix and a web browser, so want to hear some different answers.
xCloud.
Don't care about web browser at all.
I couldn't give a crap about Netflix. I couldn't give a crap. None of that. Like even like I've been watching a lot of Disney Plus, man. I don't care if it's on Switch or not, because I'm never ever going to put it on. The only way I'm watching something on my Switch is if my computer's dead and or doing something, my phone's dead and or doing something, my freaking Xbox, PlayStation, every other device that I own.
And you want to watch something and not just play Smash.
Exactly. That's the only possibility that I'm ever, and that doesn't happen. Yeah. So it's like, I don't.
Yep. Yeah, I think for me, yeah, for sure, xCloud, like you just said, this features folders. Talked about that plenty of times because
I don't care about folders. But
yeah, I would love them.
So
Themes, that kind of stuff. Those are pretty normal things.
Use it. Themes would be cool. I would use themes. Well, to be more specific, I would get one theme and never change it.
Yes. Accurate.
That's what would happen.
My phone screen wallpaper has been the same for like 3 years now.
You know what? Now that you bring up the phone, I change my phone wallpaper like quarterly.
Okay.
Sometimes more than that. But it's just like, usually it's the thing of like, I care about this game right now or whatever. I change to that. Like right now, my freaking phone wallpaper Squirtle. Because, like, at first it started as a thing of, like, I need to play Squirtle because Squirtle's a good one. He's a good boy. He's the best one out of the three. And then it just became, like, Squirtle's the fun one to play. So then I was like, he's like, yeah.
He's just fun and cute. And Squirrel Squad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, even though he's not Squirtle Squad in Smash Brothers, which is dumb.
I mean, true. He should be.
Stupid. They should, like, they could just do it, dude. Just give him the Squirtle Squad, like, give him the Ash, like, leader glasses, and then give everybody else the round ones. Stupid.
It's dumb. Yeah, I don't know. Besides xCloud and folders, those are like the main ones that I can think of.
Such a random assortment of things.
One of them is going to help sell more Switches, and the other one's just xCloud. So, like,
oh my God.
But that's it from you guys. Questions, y'all. We did it.
We did it.
Good job. We had a technical difficulty or two, but you know what? We surpassed it.
What's the other one?
No, it was just one. But all things considered, if we didn't have this backup of, you know, the videos working the way they do, we would have lost like 2.5 hours worth of content. So that would have sucked.
Right.
But instead, we good.
We got it. We got there in the end, dude. And nobody had to like freaking, nobody's house was blowing up. We didn't like had to do Indiana Jones and escape just by the skin of our teeth when they were chasing us. It's
a grand old time. Thank you everybody for being with us this year. We'll be back next week with another podcast episode, and that'll be the last one of 2019. And so we'll talk to you then.
Talk to you then. What day is that even?
27th.
Hey, be my B-Day.
You're so right.
My B-Day.
Oh,
okay, goodbye.
All right, bye.